Back, folks, so we'll take it from here. Podcast with Joe and Don. My name is Joe.
And I'm Don.
And you're listening to a show in which two dudes and friends try to spread positivity and basically just have a good time, entertain you, and make you think. And we do that by a multitude of things, a variety of topics we like to talk on this show. We will have guests on, of which we have one today. But before we introduce our guest, Don, can you just let our newers know, because we have a new country.
Germany. Do we?
Nice.
Yeah, Germany.
The homeland.
Yeah, the homeland. So welcome to there, right out of the city of Hamburg.
All right.
But why don't you let them know where we can find us?
Well, I'm going to speak in English if you guys don't mind. But you guys can find us on Instagram at We'll Take It From Here Podcast. I'm at Don Shoemaker Jr. Joe is at Joe Francesco 48. And totally blanking on everything else I'm supposed to say. We're 53 episodes in. But this is where we're at. So welcome back to the show. Appreciate you guys all listening in each week. It's been really, really awesome to see the show consistently grow, and we have a lot of gratitude for that.
Oh, yeah.
We like to do a question and answer segment of the show. So look out on Wednesdays for Joe. Usually puts out a question box there. You can answer, on Instagram. Send us in some questions. We'll answer it live here on the show. Usually at the end of the show, and that's how we roll. You can rate us, review us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening. That helps us grow the show, so that would be awesome to do. And appreciate you guys that have done that already. Or if you haven't, just go give us a like, give us a rating. And we are on YouTube. Bear with me here. I'm having a hard time uploading the videos. For some reason, they're not uploading right now.
I think we already got banned.
Technology, yeah. Could be something we said. Who knows? But hey. A lot of episodes are up on there, so give us a like, give us a subscribe, and that's about it. So thanks for listening again this week.
Hell yeah, and to reiterate, thank you. We're very grateful that you guys are listening. We love doing this for you. But without further ado, we want to introduce our guest in the show, Remo, baby.
What's up, fellas? How are you? Thank you so much for the invite. First off, congrats on this whole thing, man, because it's fantastic. I listened to a couple of episodes. It's awesome.
Appreciate it,
I
man.
can't thank you enough. I feel completely honored being even invited on here. I'm a little disappointed because I listened to Mikey compare him to the dude from Maverick.
Rooster, yeah.
His mustache is gone.
I know, everybody sound the alarm. Everybody's getting depressed. The mustache is gone. It's okay, guys.
Yours is distracting. I don't even know if I can get into that.
Yeah. Oh shit! Yeah, yo, everyone says that, bro.
Maybe I'll bring it back.
Yo, you should. I mean, hey, I don't know. I'm gonna keep mine because I tell everyone, they're like, "Oh, you keeping that mustache?" I said, "Dude, once I got female approval, it is staying." And I'm talking about outside my mom.
It's true.
It's the end thing.
It's true. It's true.
Oh yeah, bro.
Dude, you know what? The mustache, man. It takes a lot of confidence to wear the mustache.
Just wear it like that. Definitely.
Yeah.
For sure. Dude, yo, you don't even know. So for those of you listening, Remo is a good friend of mine from Pure MMA. So on the mats, man, I get harassed and obliterated by George. So George, if you're listening, what's up, buddy? He literally goes with the handlebars because he's like, dude, the mustache wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't handlebar. And I'm like, bro, I'm trying to get fucking Motorhead status right here. You know, the lead singer from Motorhead had the whole fucking shit. He was like, don't do that.
We have a motorcycle.
Dude, it gets to the point sometimes where you're like, you can feel it on your face, and that was just starting to bother me. I'm like, I gotta get rid of this fucking thing.
Dude, I play
when I roll with him, I feel it on my face. I tap out 90% of the time just getting tickled.
That's what she said.
We're getting Stevie here already. We're not even 3 minutes into the show. I fucking love it. Awesome. No, but dude, it's our pleasure. Like you said, it's our pleasure being on the show, man. There's a lot that's gone on with you in the past couple months, and you're also just a fucking great person.
Man,
and I figured it would be anytime. I figured it would be a great fucking show. So basically, how we do this, man, just pretend like these mics aren't here. But apparently, you're already a freaking pro. You're like radio host and stuff here.
Kind of a big deal. No?
Exactly.
No, I'm kidding. I'm a little comfortable in front of it. Sorry. We'll get into why, but yeah.
For sure, yeah. But I guess we'll just start off by just letting our viewers go as far as our viewers and listeners. As far back as you want, man. Just like introduce who are you, man.
Yeah.
Remo.
So, all right, my name's Remo, and I was born and raised in Totowa, New Jersey. Spent most of my life until I was like almost 30 there. When I was younger, the neighborhood I grew up in, so if you're not familiar with Totowa, it's a real small, close-knit town, right? And within every block, there was numerous kids our own age, that all grew up together. So really, I'm still best friends with a lot of the guys and girls from that town.
That's awesome.
Which is, not many people get to say that from their hometown. I mean, I'm talking like 20 or plus more people, where we're just tight.
Mm-hmm.
Right in the center of my neighborhood was a firehouse. Right, so there was like 4 firehouses in that town, and one of them was a block away. Mm-hmm. So you can join that fire department at 16 to be the quote unquote junior member. It was like basically like a fraternity clubhouse to go to away from home at a young age, and like 10 of us all joined. We're like, so that started my youth young, and that got me involved in a lot of like community oriented stuff, and also just a good time. Back then this was late 80s, so a lot more was tolerated back then, which we'll get into if you want. But it was so that's how like I grew up with that kind of environment and those kind of people, and that stemmed off for years until I joined the Marines when I was 18 out of high school. But at the last second, and I do regret this, I didn't go full time. I went reserves, which means part time. Basically, you go away for your 6 months of training, and then it's 1 week a month, 2 weeks out of the year. And my commitment was the 8-year commitment, but 6 years of active reserve time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And during that time, went to college. I went to County College of Morris right here, and then
Harvard on the Hill, baby.
Yeah,
That's
and
it.
I wish it was everybody that goes there says I wish this was a 4-year school, because it was probably some of the best times I've ever had was at that college.
At CCM?
Oh, it was fantastic.
No shit, really?
Yeah, man. It was. I mean, not just like socially.
Yeah.
Met a lot of cool people, man. But also like academically, like some of the best teachers I've ever come in contact with. The professors were fantastic there. Majored in criminal justice. Transferred to Montclair State after that to get my bachelor's. At the time they didn't have a criminal justice major. You could minor in it, so it was a sociology major. So
sociology. Yeah.
Which really, I wasn't like a huge academic person, but that really got the fire into me to like deal with people. I was always an outgoing kind of social guy. I always kid around and be like, I can make friends at a funeral. That's the type of guy I love being like that. I like to find out all about a person, just meeting them. So that kind of stemmed, added on to who I was while I was in the Marines and going to college. Got my bachelor's degree, and then I was working for a pretty large corporation actually since I was like 17 all the way up to like 27, so about 10 years.
Oh, wow.
It was a packaging products corporation. They made bubble wrap.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh, the ones that you pop?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, exactly. That's why I'm laughing before I even get it out, because I tell people that, they're like, oh my god, you made bubble wrap, So
were you just popping shit in the office all the time?
You would think.
Probably got old after about 1 week,
gets old
right?
after, but like worked my way through college, basically doing that, starting in like shipping and receiving in a warehouse.
Nice.
And then working my way up through customer service, and then eventually I got like a sales territory of Manhattan, Brooklyn, Staten Island. I did that, driving around, selling bubble wrap.
Selling bubble wrap.
Hey, you want some bubble wrap?
So it was door to door bubble
No,
wrap?
it was door to door for like, so the training territory was that area, because that was like the hardest area to get involved in.
Gotcha.
But the obstacle with that was they were purchasing agents, and the warehouses that they packaged their products in were usually in Jersey or Connecticut or wherever, so it was very like quasi jurisdictional amongst sales reps, if that makes sense, but it was a really good training experience. The problem is I was never into sports ever.
Really?
I still am not. So as a salesman, if you're not into sports, it's like, what are you talking about? So it was
so
like
what was your strategy? What would you do?
Food.
Where to eat? Food or sports, man.
Food's an icebreaker. Like, hey, this is a great area. What's good around here to eat? And then boom, you're in the door,
Yeah.
But my knowledge being in the manufacturing end of the product and the customer service end, I came with a pretty big knowledge base to kind of address any issues they had or whatever in their packaging areas. It gets a little boring talking about that stuff, but so I was going to stay with them because it was a multi-million-dollar worldwide corporation, right? They were all over the world, and I was young and single at the time. And then once I got in sales, they were really good to their employees, and they were like, "Listen, where do you want to go? Because you can go to Germany, you can go to Australia, you can go to Spain, wherever you want, on our dime, and we'll put you there if you want to pursue this career," which was really, really hard to like turn down. But my aspirations were law enforcement, right?
Okay.
So ever since I was a young kid, and especially in Totowa, born and raised there, right? But that's such a small town. It was like, you know, you really had to be involved in that area and all that stuff. So being that, even with the fire department, it was kind of tough to get on. I ventured out, and the next neighboring town was Paterson Police, right? So Paterson, you had to have a residency requirement to get hired at the time. I'm not sure if that's changed now. I moved into Paterson, into
I heard that's a luxurious area.
Oh, it's fantastic, man. It's awesome.
So where exactly? Because I'm actually very familiar with Totowa because my grandparents live in Totowa, so I go there all the time. They're up, they're like right off of like, you know, the Wells Fargo right off Totowa Road. You go up the hill. That's where they are, right? Yeah. So when like going from that Wells Fargo, right? If you made a left and then going all the way down and you cross the bridge to the Passaic River, that's West Paterson.
Woodland Park now.
Yeah, Woodland Park. Okay, that's where Woodland Park is because that's my grandpa. He used to have a pizzeria there.
Oh, where?
It used to be called Capri.
That's your get out of here.
Fuck out of here. Yeah, that was my dad. No, but not now. He's retired for 20 years now, but he had it for.
And I grew up.
Yeah, exactly.
I know exactly where you're talking.
Yeah, do you know a guy, the owner Frank and Sal? Yeah, Frank is my grandpa, and Sal's his brother.
That was a small world. It's crazy.
It would be Frank and Sal though.
Yeah, it would be Frank and Sal, right?
So wait, is this the Soul? Not the Soul.
Yeah, the Soul.
So John Soul.
Yeah, John. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, but still, yeah. But yeah, no, that's my.
What a small world, man.
Yeah, he was my mom's cousin.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
Holy shit, I can't believe you know him.
Oh yeah, sure.
Small fucking world, dude.
I grew up right there, man. And like I said, Totowa was a small town.
Very small.
It really is.
Not only
Italian, so
right. And we'll get into the eating part of it, but I know where every pizzeria is over there.
Yeah.
You know, but so the high school was Totowa, West Paterson, and Little Falls.
Yeah.
Tri-town high school. So you not only knew the people you grew up with, but everybody surrounding the town also.
Yeah.
So yeah, 100%, man. That's crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So they were originally over by the ShopRite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little Falls.
Yeah.
Shit.
Sure. I used to go to all the time.
You may know more about my grandma.
Probably do.
That's fucking hilarious. Yeah, he used to be right by the ShopRite. I remember. Yeah, and then they moved to West Paterson.
Yep.
Is that where you were when you moved? That's where I was going with this. Is that where you moved when you like that area of Paterson?
No. So I grew up. So Totowa has Upper Borough, Lower Borough.
Okay.
Right? So your family's Upper Borough. I was right, because you said they were.
They're up on the hill. Yeah. I don't know.
You go down the Union Boulevard towards Paterson border, there's a giant cemetery, and then Gelati's ice cream.
Yeah.
You know what that is, right?
Yeah.
Everybody knows what that is.
Going by landmarks.
The landmarks are dead people and food, man. That's all. So I was right down that block.
Okay.
Yeah, right there, right by the cemetery. So. When I moved into Paterson, it was on Union Ave. So there's a firehouse down the street there, right across the street. I lived in like this hovel apartment just because you had to have residency requirement. We moved in with a buddy of mine who's now also a police officer. But anyway, so the process is really long. I'm not going to bore everybody with the entire process on how to get on a civil service job, but it's a long process, man. It takes forever.
I've heard.
Oh man,
they put you through a lot of psychological tests, right, to make sure that you can actually do what you need to do.
Not a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we'll definitely get into that if you want. Yeah, it's enough, obviously, to know if you're crazy or not. Yeah, of course, because you can, but it's not. It's like one psychological exam.
Yeah,
and that's it. You get screened. But it's way more than that. It's like more, not so much as far as like the testing goes, but the application process is what's forever.
Yeah,
because you get put on a state list.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, we can get into that if you want, the process of how long that is. Or
I mean, if you I
don't care. Yeah, sure. So basically, and this is what I do. Part of what I do now, and I'll explain how I transitioned over to that.
Yeah.
Title, but. So basically, if you want to become a police officer, you take in certain jurisdictions, like so Totowa is not civil service. Totowa is what you would call a chief's town or chief's test.
Chief's town, okay.
And it's like any other job. You apply.
Yep.
Right? They might post they were looking for. If you ever like drive around in Denville's hiring, they put it on a big sign. Like that's a chief's town, right?
Mm-hmm.
Civil service is different. We are governed by the State Civil Service Commission, New Jersey Civil Service Commission. So what that entails is, let's say I want to go that route. You take the state exam, get put on a giant list of names of eligible people, and it gives veterans preference. So they have disabled veterans, and meaning when you say disability, like partial hearing loss, or you have like a compressed vertebrae or something like that. Nothing that's going to debilitate them from being doing the law enforcement job. but they go first on the list from passing to just passing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? 100% to just passing
Gotcha.
on a score. Then they have veterans, non-disabled veterans, and then civilians, right? Non-veterans.
Yep.
So being that I was in the Marines, or I had, I served time in the Marines, I wasn't a veteran because state civil service classifies veteran as like deployed into a combat theater.
Gotcha.
Got it.
So military had nothing to do with it. It was whether or not you're a veteran, right? So like, if that makes sense. Like everybody else,
Yeah, it makes sense.
You know,
I don't know if I agree with that, but
so, I mean,
makes sense, right?
I do because like,
You do? Okay.
dude, I did my Marine time. I did Toys for Tots. I took credit for whatever. All the real guys.
All right.
I'm always like
I got you,
walked around the mall with the dress uniform on, and like all the chicks checking me out. Like, I was in the Marines.
I'm a Marine.
Handing out teddy bears for 6 years. So
hey, title's a title.
So that's how that process works.
Gotcha.
It could take a considerable amount of time because they can't pass one category for another. So like if I'm on the list or any non-veterans on the list and they didn't get through the rest of them first, then you're not getting hired for a while.
Got it.
So that's what happened with when I first started and moved into Paterson. I'm waiting. I'm not hearing anything. So I started pursuing my career at the packaging products place.
You're still working there this whole time?
Still working there the whole time.
Okay.
Still kind of mixing my residency in Paterson, which my parents lived 3 blocks away, so I would split the time up between both of them. But yeah, so then my buddy happened to be home. My roommate happened to be home the day that Paterson's internal affairs came, and they're like, "You guys want the job? Because
Wow.
you're eligible." And he calls me up, and I'm like, "Oh man, I kind of almost forgot about it by this point because it's so long,
Yeah.
But being young and single, and I'm like, all right, I always wanted to do this. Yeah, let's do it, So I got on, and at the time, Paterson had its own police academy. So there were 44 of us that went through the Paterson Police Academy. Now they don't do that anymore. Now they go to a county academy.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're starting your new career, and I grew up blocks from Paterson, so it's not like I didn't know what Paterson was about.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not familiar with it, which I'm sure most of your listeners, maybe not the guy in Germany, but
Yeah.
so I think don't quote me on the statistics, but I believe it was somewhere around an 8 square mile town, somewhere around like that. I want to say it was bigger, but I'm not sure. But it had like reported, I think, almost 200,000 population, 72 nationalities.
Wow.
All different races and cultures, and I mean it was a melting pot. It's nicknamed Silk City, the first industrialized city in America.
I had no idea that was
a lot of textiles went through there. A lot of all that, I mean, when I'm first generation born American from an Italian descent, so both my parents off the boat Italian, and came and settled into the Paterson area. That's what we did. If you came to anywhere near this area, you lived in Paterson if you were an immigrant.
Oh wow.
And at that time, there was movie theaters and shopping. That was like the hub to be. And then as time went on, kind of went by the wayside and became like a really bad city. And I think when I was there, we averaged about 20 homicides a year.
Holy shit.
In that small amount of space,
Yeah, but you said 8 square miles?
I mean, don't quote me on that. I'm not sure.
Around
it wasn't it wasn't like
Right.
Newark or Irvington and
Gotcha.
like that. It was, but so it was.
Yeah,
But it was contained. Like that violence was contained in there, and it was a fantastic learning experience. But I think I almost qualified for food stamps my first year, man. It was.
Yeah.
I think my take home pay after taxes was about $12 grand.
Oh wow.
A year.
12 grand then.
Yeah. I mean, even as a single guy.
12 grand.
Yeah.
It was. I think it was 19 grand on the books, and then after taxes, it was like it was nothing.
Jeez.
It's since changed from what I understand. Like the contract has gotten a little bit better, but there were about 400 officers down there at the time. So it was. But I tell you, invaluable experience, man.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say like obviously fear was an issue in that environment, but it was like I don't know. You were just new and full of piss and vinegar, and you had really good people at that time mentoring as far as what to do, how to do it, and all that stuff. But rewind a little bit to my upbringing up to that point, sociology major, community oriented. Like I couldn't be anywhere else at that time. I was like, this is awesome. I'm learning about so many different people, and I think that lacks in a lot of society today is the ignorance to other cultures, other races, other just you just when you're not amongst different people, you tend to be a little ignorant. And so that really helped with just who I am. As far as what I really like doing.
No, for sure.
I can see that.
I forgot where the hell I heard what I'm about to say, but Isn't it interesting, because you just mentioned how there's this lack of like this ignorance to other cultures, other races, right? Isn't there like this big correlation with people who used to, or when police officers used to be patrolling on the streets and you could actually speak with with your residents, right? And now everyone's in the car, right? Like I forgot where I heard that. Like it went once the police officers went to staying in the car, because that's how they do it now, and they stopped going on the streets. Like that's when there was a huge disconnect.
Well, I think it also there's a lot more people now versus.
Well, I mean, so much has changed. You know, so much has changed with the career, and we can definitely get into all that. You know, I don't know where you want to go, like as far as subject wise, because I got a lot of thoughts on that. And I should probably give my disclaimer now. I know we talked about that before we started recording. Is my thoughts for all you folks out there listening and watching? Like my thoughts are my own. They're not representative of where I work or anything like that. I'm no longer with Paterson, by the way. So I had transferred, which you can do what's called an intergovernmental transfer, which is what I did because. I mean, let's face it, the writing was on the wall. I'm like, I don't know, like, you know, financially, if I could stay down here and is it really what I want to do?
Yeah.
I felt like I wasn't making a difference, you know. It's like I really, in my heart, wanted to be like part of this. You know, I took the job, but I can't speak for every police officer, but I took the job wanting to help, wanting to change, wanted to be a part of a community and all that stuff. And I was just going call to call to call to call. And like, it was just crazy.
I think you're part of the generation and part of the officers that actually wanted to make change. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that was a thing back then. No, yeah, for sure. Like, I feel like back then it was more so you became an officer because you wanted to make change. You wanted to serve your community. Nowadays, it's like people just do it. I feel like.
Well, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm mixed on a lot. I have a lot of mixed emotions and feelings about the whole career. I mean, law enforcement is a culture. It really is. It's not just a profession. You have to be a certain type of personality. You have to have that type A personality. You have to be a dominant kind of person. And all that's beneficial to a point. But then going back to like, you know, the tests they put you through and all that stuff, I've always had an issue with the fact that they don't have any gauge on how you interact with people. Are you a good communicator? Or are you going to be the guy or girl that walks into a place, taps your badge, and be like, because I said so, because I'm wearing this uniform, because that's what kills this career. Kills it. That's what gives us the reputation. That's what, and I don't care. I ruffle a lot of feathers, man, talking about this stuff, you know, and I really don't care at this point. I got 2 years, 9 months, 21 days left, something like that, before I retire.
We're taking down the days.
According to my retirement app, you know. So, and hopefully I don't screw that up by what I'm saying here. But I don't think I'm stepping on any toes by just speaking my mind. There's, you know, you go through a police academy, and it's much like the military, like boot camp. There's somebody screaming and yelling at you for 5 months. You're going through all this administrative type stuff, right? Like obviously things you need to know, and a lot of it, most of it is obviously the necessity, use of force guidelines. You know, and New Jersey, by the way, has probably some of the most strict use of force guidelines when you can and can't do things, right? Which is why, and I can get into that in detail too, is why you don't see so much, in my opinion, you know, the brutality cases you might see in other areas of the country, you know, because it's such a strict emphasis, as it should be, right, to what we're allowed to do. So, I'm getting off track here, but the academy is a very paramilitary type environment, right? Which I agree to an extent, but being from a civil service agency and the fact that the majority of officers have military and have been in combat, some guy screaming at you from 8 to 4, and then it's not going to do anything. It's more annoying than it is anything else. Sorry for all the drill instructors out there, which I was one also in Paterson briefly, right? Which was fun, but it's an act, it's a game to instill fear and try and like knock down who they are to build them back up as a unit, right? I mean, there's a design to it. It's
and build camaraderie, right? Like
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, like, if you like are yelling at me and Don, right?
Right.
And then you make yourself the bad guy, so to speak, and then me and Don become closer, right? Is that
And so it's multifaceted, right? So there's a whole approach to why and when to do that stuff, right? So you screw up, everybody's gonna pay for it, and now that makes you like a team,
unit,
right?
Yeah.
It also makes everybody else accountable for the unit themselves. So it's not just going to be like, oh, well, you know, Joe's screwing up, he's on his own. You know, it's not. It's like we're all responsible for it. So if we see something, we're going to address it, right? But it also gauges your ability to take that. If you can't take a stranger screaming in your face and not touching you and not hurting you,
that's a good point.
You know, like if you can't take that, how are you going to act when that's happening for real on the street? Somebody's trying to take your gun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a gauge with that too. Can this person take that? And so that, I guess, in essence, is more also of a psychological test per se, you know, because it's whether or not you can take that pressure. Because this job is an adrenaline. I don't care if you work in a 2-officer town in the middle of nowhere with a couple of horses, or in the middle of Manhattan. You know what I mean? There's adrenaline flows, and if you can't handle that over a career, it's a problem, you know?
Yeah.
But my problem with law enforcement is that, you know, I don't, in my career, and I've been doing this again like 22 years now, a lot of cops don't know how to talk to people. And I feel, in my opinion, you can diffuse a large percentage of issues by just talking, having empathy, man. Like, empathy is huge in this career.
You told me a story one day, and I think it was when you were in the Paterson office, about how you diffused the situation. It was genius. I think it was that you had to go up to somebody, and then you were with your I believe not partner, excuse me, thank you, coworker, yeah, partner at the time, and you saw that your partner was trying to put on the bravado, and you came up and you're like, hey man, I'm just like, what'd you say, like, just I'm in uniform, it means nothing.
It doesn't, like that. Dude. How you guys see me right now is how I am, and how I've always been as you know. So just so everybody knows, like, I don't work the streets anymore.
Okay.
I mean, here and there I might, you know, but I'm predominantly in an office and out in the community. I'm a community officer now. No longer with Paterson, but in another agency, right? But I'm basically, I go out and give presentations. I do public events. I do wherever, anything community oriented. If I'm not doing that, I'm in what's called the support services division, which is all the behind the scenes, hiring, uniforms, ammunition, you know, you name it. There's some policy involvement, that kind of stuff. But it's not answering calls, right?
Yeah.
When I was out in the street, and being that I was of that mentality, I can't, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn here for any cops that are listening, and I'm trying to say I'm like better than any other cop, because I'm not. I mean, there's a lot of really fantastic police officers.
Absolutely.
100%. I'm not trying to bash that. I'm talking about the 10% of cops that give us the stereotype, that give us the bad name. This is who I'm talking about, right? So to go to your story, you know, I happened to be working one day. And, you know, when I go to somebody's problem, listen, man, you know, if we're showing up at your door, that's that person's worst day of their life. They're already going through something horrible, right? 99% of the time. It's not like, you know, I'm not selling, it's not UPS delivering packages. I'm going to somebody's problem, you know? Yeah. So they don't want to see me right there, right? There's always a victim or a winner and a loser in that situation, right? Yeah. For lack of better terms. So, like, you have to go into that environment already kind of understanding that, you know, and be like, okay, the person that's going to be losing this situation, you know, you have to kind of have empathy, whether they're not a great member of society or not. I'm not judge and jury. I'm there to diffuse the situation, figure out how we're going to handle it. If something criminal happened, address that, right? That's my only function. You're not supposed to get your emotions involved and take things personally. They start calling you names and start saying they're gonna do shit to your sister and your mom and all that stuff, and spitting on you. Oh my God, I mean, spit on like nonstop, you know. And a lot of times in my life, just because it's the uniform.
Yeah,
they don't know me, you know. I mean, it took me a while to get accustomed to that feeling and being like, why does this person hate me, dude? It's Remo. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I make friends at funeral. You know what I mean? Like, you know? So it's like,
you gotta show up with a 6-pack of beer one day.
Right, you know? So that was a shock to me, because I was like, no, you got the wrong guy, dude. I'm all right. You know what I mean? Like, but it took me, you know, over time to understand that it's the uniform, it's the car, it's the environment, it's the situation that they're in. They don't want to see. So if you have that empathy to realize, listen, that's that person's horrible time of their lives, you can diffuse the situation. And that's what I think what you're referring to. I don't really remember that story too much, but I think a lot of what I would say sometimes is like, hey, listen, my name's Remo. You don't have to call me sir or officer. I don't care. None of that. First name basis. What's your name? You know, oh, it's Joe. Okay, well, listen, Joe, this is what's happening. There's certain things I have to do by law, you know, and I'll explain to you as you go along. As long as you're cool with me, I'm cool with you. I'm not looking to do anything other than figure out how to get out of this situation. Right now.
I think that's exactly what you said. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it's like you see their shoulders will drop. They're like, all right, they're like more relieved, because just our presence alone with all the gear we're wearing and all that stuff, it's like, it's intimidating, man, for some people that never dealt with us, you know. And psychologically, it's like, all right, they're already on the defense. Like, oh God, you know, what's going to happen? You know, if you start to diffuse that verbally, you're less likely to get into the time where maybe handcuffs have to come on to a resisting person. Right? Yeah. And then, in my experience, in all my years of law enforcement, like, not too many people fought me They just resisted. They didn't want to get into handcuffs. They weren't swinging. They weren't stabbing me trying to go for the gun. It was just a resistance to get handcuffed. And the problem that I think we see a lot of times is because there's no real training on communication, what do we get trained on? Shooting.
Gotcha.
If you carry a taser, pepper spray, baton, right? So you're going to revert back to your highest level of training, which is going to be those tools, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what do? Somebody starts getting in your face, screaming and yelling, spitting on you, and then you go to
Reach
put handcuffs
forward.
on because now I'm like, bro, you don't understand, I'm a cop, bro. You know, do what I say, and now you're in that chest pumping phase instead of a relaxation communication phase.
Yeah.
So now what are you going to do? Go for your gun, right? So okay, great. Now what? You're going to shoot the guy because he's unarmed. He doesn't want to get handcuffed, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's the issue I have now with these things. Now, luckily, since the George Floyd, right, it's been an entire reform nationally of law enforcement, and now they're finally starting to address de-escalation, right? Knowing, especially like developmental disabilities, people, autistic people, how they're going to react, right? Maybe they may be in a heightened sense of excitement, excited delirium, drugs, right? Like knowing those things, there's a lot more training and emphasis going into recognizing that stuff, and also a lot more liability to say like, hey, I saw this guy, kneeling on someone when they weren't supposed to be, now you got to say something 100% or you're done too, which should have always been like that, if you ask me, So that's, I don't know. I mean, I can go on and on. I can talk forever, man. I don't know if this is like getting too much.
No, this is perfect. No,
and again, these are my personal sentiments. It's nothing. I'm so glad to see this stuff starting to change.
Yeah.
Because I think it's been a necessity for years.
Now that's good. So you're saying, and being in the industry, firsthand. So you're saying this changes that are being made are good also.
I think so.
Do you think there's any hindering things that they're doing, like stuff that maybe they should be able to do
that
they're like basically not because now I agree with you that if you're going to be a law enforcement, you should be able to know how to diffuse a situation, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, now I feel like there's also things that are going on where they're now handcuffing you guys, and like maybe not you per se, but like people in Manhattan, people in Brooklyn.
No, it's nationally, man. It's nationally. And I agree to an extent. I understand what you're saying and the perception. I wouldn't necessarily say like they're handcuffing, but they're putting so much online, like your signature is required on this kind of stuff, which is all in concept and by subject completely understandable. But the problem is it starts to instill, oh man, I don't want to get in trouble. So now it's like, I kind of think I should be doing this a certain way, but I don't want to get in trouble. It causes hesitation. And when you hesitate on this job, man, that's when you get hurt, right? Mm-hmm. That's when you get hurt bad because you're hesitating on something to do. But and the reality of it is if it looks like a duck and acts like a duck, it's a duck, right? So if it's wrong and it's illegal, like you have to address it. You can't hesitate. And I'm not saying guys are not, they're not doing anything. They're just hesitant to put their hands on somebody if they have to, or that kind of thing. I think that's the bad part of the pendulum swinging to that direction, right? So there's a lot of positives, but there's also a lot of negatives as to what. Like, it's just, I don't know what the right answer is, man. I mean, that's
for sure.
Legislation and all that stuff. I know Jersey's, being very active with it. What I love more than anything else is that the Attorney General's office, right, which is our governing authority, is saying, hey, Gracie Jiu Jitsu
really?
is now authorized.
Oh, that's awesome.
As a learning tactic. Now, not chokes and all that stuff, and there's certain times you got to do things and all that, but dude, like, it's about time we started learning
That was going to be my next question. My next question was going to be like, what is your opinion? And of course, I think I should say I know what your opinion would be. But with jiu-jitsu, because you do jiu-jitsu,
right.
But how beneficial that would be to diffuse a situation. Even for someone who maybe doesn't have the best talking skills, right? But then their ability to be calm under pressure.
More so, if they don't have it. Because now the likelihood of a fight occurring, you don't listen. You can't rely on your biceps, man.
No,
I'll tell you that. No. Let me give you a story about my jiu-jitsu experience, right? So just to segue into jiu-jitsu, because this is getting a little dry with the whole law enforcement thing. I don't know if at least for me, I've been doing it 22 years. I'm like, I can sit here and talk forever.
No, but it's very interesting. I'm sure our audience loves it, but let's definitely segue into jiu-jitsu because this is going to be fun.
I think this is a good time to do it. So at the time, this was back 2016 maybe, around the beginning of it probably. you know, I was looking for some sort of martial arts to do with the kids. Now, mind you, I'm 48 years old, so
You look good for 48, man.
thanks, man. Camera has 10 pounds. so UFC when that first came out. When I first saw Royce Gracie and UFC, first of all, that was like
Versus Ken Shamrock.
dude. It was like, you know, professional wrestling, like WWE, on like steroids. I was like, what is this stuff, dude? Like, because I don't know if you remember the beginning when they had like, was it Chemo came out with the cross?
Yeah.
Like, it was like made of like pressure treated 6x6s, and he's like, I was like, what's
Bro,
that?
and then
What am I watching?
Shamrock's walking out with fucking like pants on, and then all of a sudden Gracie comes out with gi and a
Royce
belt.
Gracie, this karate guy, comes out, and I'm like, what's this karate guy gonna do against that guy? You know, with the and sure enough, like I didn't even understand it because I was like, if you go and watch those fights, it was like dudes are tapping and the ref's not even seeing it. Because, he's underneath Gracie.
I think you're the second person that's said that. I don't know if it was on this show or somebody else was saying that.
I think so, bro. I just remember. I know exactly what fight you're talking about. I think it was UFC 3, and Shamrock is literally fucking tapping like WWE.
And he's going. He's like he's tapping. But he don't want to let go. You know. So I'm watching this real time when it came out, like 1990. Was it 1?
Yeah.
Right.
I think it was in the 90s.
91, 93, somewhere around there. You know, and I was at the firehouse when all my boys were sitting around watching, you know, fat and disgusting, eating like chips, and I'm just like, let's watch wrestling, you know. And I'm like, what's this guy? This guy's, you know, he's 100 pounds. I'm like, he's getting his ass kicked. This dude, watch this. And sure enough, he's destroying people.
Yeah,
we're like, fixed. It's fixed.
You
know? So to fast forward now, you know, I took like probably every other 16, 17-year-old, 15-year-old, whatever. I took Taekwondo, right? Because there was no Jiu Jitsu. Yeah. There was not Jiu Jitsu anywhere. I'm sure there was, you know, but in like California. It was Taekwondo everywhere, and Ishinru karate. I remember it was always what's the other one?
I think it's Shokan.
One of those. It was one of those. Yeah. It was always titled that plus karate on these little storefronts next to like the bank and the ice cream shop, right? So for me, I took Taekwondo in a church, in the basement of a church. It was a Korean church, and that was my extent of martial arts, and that was like from 14 to like 60, and and then you hear like, I can't wait to become a black belt. You gotta like register your hands with the local police department. You're an assassin, you know, like you just think all this stuff, dude, you know, and it was so flashy and all that. And at the time, I'm still kind of flexible for a big guy, but at the time I was like super flexible. It looked really good, you know. This
is making more sense about why you're so damn fucking flexible in the back.
Well, I like broke my hand. Well, because my flexibility, right? And I don't know if you saw that when I did the split on the 2 chairs like a couple weeks ago.
No,
what? Just to see if I could, and I can still do it. I couldn't believe it, you know.
Like a full on like.
Not a Russian split, not like a Jean-Claude Van Damme, like the jazz split.
Got it.
Gymnastics set.
But
on 2 chairs, dude. Pushing 50, I was pretty proud of that. You know?
You're Jean-Claude Van Damme.
But that didn't come from my Taekwondo days. That came from a lot of drunk weddings. Being able to do a split from my Taekwondo days. So I no longer could do
there's a reason for everything.
Splits, but drunk I thought I could, and you know, it would be like I had a trifecta. I would do the Running Man dance, right? The Running Man, the Cabbage Patch, and the splits.
Nice.
So I destroyed my hamstrings like completely. I would rip them apart. I went to a lot of weddings, unfortunately, right? Anyway, sidetrack. So that was my extent of martial arts, right? So now fast forward to being a dad and, you know, kids and all, I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to get my son involved in martial arts, but I don't know where to go, you know? So I was on one of those, like, local neighborhood Facebook groups, you know? Anybody have any good recommendations for martial arts for kids or whatever?
Yeah.
And at the time, Pure had a Taekwondo program, right? In around 2016, they had that. Everybody was commenting, this guy that runs this program, he just left some school, and now he's at this place called Pure or whatever. I guess the Taekwondo guy recently left, right? And joined Pure as the Taekwondo instructor. So we're like, all right, let's go check it out. And this was when it was by 64 Lumber.
We spoke about that on the show. That's right by like the Hibernian Diner.
Yeah, right there. Yep. So went and checked it out. I walk in, right? I see it, and now it's funny because as we walk in, Andy comes out from the office. Now I worked with, I don't know if you ever met, I don't know if he wants me to say his last name, but Joe. I worked with Joe. He recently retired.
Am I thinking of the same Joe?
You're thinking of the same Joe. Older guy? I don't want to put his last name out there.
No, I'm not thinking about the one that does the law enforcement classes.
No. So this is a retired guy now, but
I know who you're talking about.
This dude, like every other jiu-jitsu practitioner, right, is in a cult. to anybody that doesn't do jiu-jitsu,
Yeah,
right?
so true.
So now, at the time, he was the only one in our department. Like my current department now, at the time, was like over 100 officers, right? So he's the only one going around annoying the shit out of everyone about tapping this guy, armbar this, right? And this guy, who I'm talking about, Joe, is probably one of the best human beings you're ever going to meet in your life. I mean, hands down. But everyone was perceiving his jiu-jitsu conversations as annoying, right?
Gotcha.
Because he wouldn't shut up about it, right? Yeah. Look at this video, So and I was good friends with him, and I loved it because I was like, dude, that shit was awesome, you know?
Yeah.
He would show me videos of Andy and Andy's fights and all his pro fights, you know, constantly on YouTube and all that stuff. So when I walk into this place for the Taekwondo program and Andy walks out, I'm like, oh, I know you, man. You know? I'm like, where do I know you from? You know, I'm like, oh, wait, no, I know you from, you know, this. And that's how I met him. So now I'm like confused because I'm like, I thought this was a Taekwondo place and I know this guy doesn't do Taekwondo, you know? Yeah. So embarrassingly, I'm like, yeah, I brought my son in because, you know, I heard it was Taekwondo and like every other 60-year-old I did that bullshit Taekwondo. And there comes a Taekwondo instructor out from behind. I'm like, oh shit. So that's how my involvement with Pure came, right? And it was strictly to get my son involved, which we ended up signing him up for the Taekwondo.
Yeah.
And I think I probably took, so I have a picture of Dan, Brazilian Dan, that does the kids program. He was a blue belt at the time.
Get the fuck out.
I have a picture training my son at like 5 years old. My son's 12 now, so this was 7 years ago, right?
Okay.
There's a picture came up recently on my memories. I'm like, yo, Dan was a blue belt. Dan is now a black belt, right? Yeah. And he was a brown belt forever. So this was like blew my mind that he was a blue belt. You know, so I was like, holy shit, that's great. So we get him involved in that, and then everybody, I think. Joe that does the cop classes, his wife was there on the mats and she was rolling and she was like, she's so friendly. I don't know if you ever met her. Never. She used to train, she hasn't in a while, but I remember her rolling with another woman and then she like looks up and she's like, hey, nice to meet you. You should join, you know, as she's rolling. I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, first of all, this isn't that shit UFC stuff I used to watch. What the hell's going on here? Because it's not in a cage, you know? Yeah. And I'm like, those people are like, you know, have their faces in each other's crotches. And I'm like, what kind of crazy shit is this? Shit? You know? So, yeah, man. So that was my first experience with jiu-jitsu, you know, other than hearing about it. Yeah. But even with hearing about it from my coworker, I was watching videos online in the cage, you know, what I called cage fighting at the time, you know? So I didn't understand what was happening with the jiu-jitsu, you know? And I think I probably took 1 or 2 trial classes at the old school. Mm-hmm. And it was right when they were, maybe I took more than that. It was a long time ago, man. But it was right when they were moving to the new school, right? So at the current location, they just had the red room. That was it. So I went to the first. Yeah, that's the Muay Thai room. Yeah, okay, Muay Thai kickboxing room, right? Yep. They only had that. That was it. That was pure. And I went to the first class, and they didn't have any air conditioning. It was midsummer. Bro, it was 9,000 degrees. And here I am, fat as shit, because we'll get into that, right? I mean, I'm fat as fuck. It was like over like 315 probably was my weight.
Bro, you were 315?
Wow. Yeah. How tall are you?
5'9".
Yeah, so that's...
I'm a mailbox.
You're big,
basically.
You're big boy.
Built like a mailbox.
I fucking love that. Well, not anymore.
Not anymore.
We'll get into that later.
Yeah,
not anymore. You look fucking great now.
Thanks, man. Yeah. So, you know, so here I am, like, I'm out of breath putting the gi on. Yeah. You know, I mean, really, it was that bad. And not to mention, I sweat like an M&M in a fat guy's pocket. You know what I mean? So I was like, I would be like...
I never heard that one.
Oh, dude, I saw like an M&M in a fat guy's pocket.
I have no hair, so I'm literally like just standing there, like the frumpy, you know, every fat guy has like the shoulders real far. I'm like... Like standing in line. We didn't even start yet. We didn't start the class. I'm drenched. I got a gi that's made out of fucking, you know, my grandmother's curtains. I was like, what am I doing here, bro? I'm 41, right? I'm 41 years old. I'm like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever done in my life, you know? And then to add insult to injury, you know, I'm standing there watching. I'm looking at everybody, and they're all built tiny in my perception compared to me, right? I'm like, oh, dude, I can mop these guys up. Even in this shitty-ass condition, I'll just fucking crush them with my arms, you know? Like, I'll kill these guys, you know? I'm thinking to myself, right? Who do I roll with? Adrian Luna.
Oh, no shit.
Right? Now, Adrian,
what's up, babe?
Professor Adrian.
Adrian's what, maybe 5'6"?
I think he's like 5'2" or something like that.
No.
Definitely not. Oh, shit, you're about to get your ass.
Well, for the story, it's better. He was 4'3", right, for the story.
Yeah.
Because this is what's so funny about this story. Adrian's not a big guy, right? Smaller dude.
Small guy. Yeah.
And so I go up against him, and I'm like, oh, this poor guy, bro. I'm gonna fuck him up, 30 seconds later, he's got his feet in my belly, my big fat belly, and gi grips on the sleeves, and he's got me hoisted up like Superman. So he's on his back,
It's
and
amazing.
he's like basically leg pressing me. He's not doing any technique yet, Yeah. And I'm stuck there because I'm trying to get out of it, and he's just chilled. He's just chilling like he's doing nothing, and I'm like, all right, what the fuck kind of voodoo witchcraft is this shit, I'm like, I'm 315 pounds. Yeah. I'm towering over this dude. And I can't get out of this position. He's not even hurting me.
Yeah.
And that was when the switch got flipped, and I was like, this shit is awesome. Legit, I have to figure this out, right?
That's where the art comes in.
Bro. Now, from that point in 2016? Probably, 2016 maybe-ish, right? Yeah, because it was summer of 2016, I think, right? From that point on till now, right? And I took like a year off here, 6 months off here, because listen, man, past 45, you're getting injured 24 hours a day. You know? So, and I'm not competing, and I have a job, and you kind of need to be able to walk.
You're a police officer at this point?
Oh yeah.
So you're 315 as a cop.
Yeah, man. Which, right? So it's not good. I love donuts.
Donuts.
A lot of donuts, right? So well, we're gonna get into why I was so big. Definitely, I want to get into that. So, so that's like, shit, I lost my train of thought.
No, you were saying 2016.
Oh, right. So all this time. So from that thought of like, oh, I can't wait to get involved in this, to where I'm at now, and really, I only started like this whole transition started very recently as far as transforming into a kind of a different person, but even mentally with jiu-jitsu was new, because you could ask anybody at Pure, they were like my therapist. I'd be like, bro, I fucking suck. I can't wait. I should quit. This sucks. I'm always, up until, like not too long ago, I would like, there'd be every week I'd be walking out there like, I'm quitting. Like, what am I doing this shit? I'm quitting, because I just thought I sucked so bad. And I didn't realize, I forget who said it to me. Shit, I can't remember who it was. And I can't thank them enough. I wish I remembered who it was that said, but they were like, dude, that's all ego. And I'm like, me, dude, I feel like I'm one of the most humblest guys. Like, I'm not ego at all, especially, like, I just explained how, it's like a big thing with me. It's like, I want to be bravado and ego and all that. But I didn't realize what that actually meant. And it's like ego with yourself. Like, you're not letting it go.
Yeah.
So I'm fighting myself. And dude, I mean, people have explained that to me throughout all the years in jiu-jitsu. It never clicked until that day when I was like, oh, it's like I'm too proud to just let it go. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, because you roll fantastic, dude.
Oh, thank you.
Bro, you're legit. This guy is is legit. Like, I watch you roll, and I'm just like, fuck, I wish I could roll like that.
Bro, thank you so much for that, man.
Your flow is fantastic.
I'm just, that's just accredited to all the fucking Pure family there, man, for whooping my ass and helping me get better, dude. Thank you, dude. And our rolls, dude, are fucking. We haven't rolled in a bit, so that's due. That's due. 100%. Especially on the new Remo, man.
Yeah. I know I'm like inverting now. Inverting. I got my leg, my knee to my face. I'm like, I could never do that before. It always stopped at the stomach. I have to reinvent my game because I was always like, especially like if I get somebody side control now, it's not as good as it used to be.
No, for sure.
70 pounds.
Dude, I remember one time. Okay, so I just remember one time being, because dude, you were 300 pounds. You were 300 pounds. And I just remember
315, you said,
at my heaviest.
At heaviest. But when I knew you, I think you were 298. I was
about 298, 299. Yeah, but 300, it's called 300.
Yeah, 300. Yeah. So when I would go with
my socks on, it was 300.
It's a big ass size.
It's a lot of wool.
Yeah. But I just remember being like, I never told you this, but in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm saying top game against Remo right now. He is not mounting me. He's not going to do anything. I'm staying top game. So then I remember I would like go with you because you started before me, of course. So like I'm going, I'm like, all right, I got to play top game there. Then all of a sudden you would sweep me and I'm like, no. But I would immediately get into guard, right? So I would get into guard and you'd be in my closed guard and then, okay, I think I'm safe here. Then all of a sudden I just remember you got up and you put your shoulder into me and I was like, oh my God, the round needs to end now. The round needs to end now. And I'm like, oh God, this fucking sucks. And then all of a sudden I just remember like, I was like, all right, he's passing me. And then you passed me and you got into side control. And I was like,
sure this was me? Because I don't pass many people, dude.
Oh, dude, you literally had this dead to rights. I was like, oh my fucking God, this is a lot of pressure. So then I remember you passed me and I was like, oh, I can breathe again. But then I couldn't because you were so big. When you pulled me in, I was like, oh my God, he's like a fucking monster.
Dude, I tell you, man.
I'm just picturing you flying in the air with Adrian just toying you around.
Yeah, I don't even know if he remembers that. I'm sure he does. I tell that story all the time, man. Because that was my first experience with it, and I was like blown away by that. Somebody could even do that to me, because I always thought, I was always weightlifting, because that's how I got so big, really, with the eating and shit. But a lot of weights, because I always heard like, well, you're like fat, but you're like athletically fat, I'm like, stop, don't sugarcoat.
Justify.
I'm husky.
I'm pretty sure I've said that to you.
I gotta buy the husky jeans. I get it. I don't have wooden mirrors.
You could have just called yourself a power lifter.
Yeah, sure. Hey,
everyone's like, you used to wrestle or whatever. I'm like, no, I just bench press my own weight.
That's fucking hilarious. No, but like, you go back to your ego point, dude. Think about it.
Yeah.
You are literally going up against another man, or in some instances, another woman, or a woman, and they are fucking smashing your face into the mat, right? Yeah. And they are basically simulating murder. Yeah. And if they don't respect your tap, they could either just break a limb or kill you. There is so much ego in that, and that's why it's important to let it go.
So my problem with the ego part of it was I would fix, and Joe, I'm gonna say his last name, Joe Farina, right? The guy that teaches the...
Bro, that's what I was
That's not
referring.
The guy. No, that's that guy. No. So I'm saying I'll say his name because I can.
Oh,
the other guy,
okay,
I don't know if he wants me to.
Like, okay.
But Joe Farina's all over the internet, so
Yeah, shout out.
Farina. No, definitely. Hey, what's up, Joe? By the way, one of my biggest mentors at Pure.
He's such a savage.
There's so much. I can't even put into words how much that guy has changed my life.
Really?
That's awesome. Yeah,
oh my God, that's awesome.
Like, I don't even know if he knows all that. But, I mean, I respect his opinion. I could go on and on and on. And there's quite a few guys like that and girls at Pure. But for him, like, I can't even put into words what he's done. I mean, because so just to give him a shout out, like, he started the free law enforcement jiu-jitsu, or actually defensive tactics program at Pure.
At Sundays, right?
Cool. So props to Andy and Mikey for allowing him to use Pure, right? But super big props to him, for developing this program on his own time, free to all law enforcement, every Sunday, awesome. 8 to 9:30.
Is that still going on right now?
That's still going on, man. Right. And it's on his own time, so the only way he would cancel it, which is very, very rare, is if he's got some sort of issue he can't get out of, engagement he can't get out of, or he's working. Even when he works nights, dude, he'll just come there. He'll take his own personal time to do it. Like, the guy is so dedicated to this cause because he wants to train cops. He does defensive tactics at the Morris County Academy.
Yeah. Okay. And you said this is, I just want to repeat it because I know we got some listeners that are thinking about getting into jiu-jitsu. Sundays.
This is for law enforcement only.
Yeah.
So Sundays at Pure.
Sundays. Okay.
Yeah. 8 to 9:30. It's the Facebook group is Train to Survive. So if you're in law enforcement, Train to Survive, you request to join that, and that's how you're going to find out if class is on or off, because that's really the only way he could tell everybody, if he's not able to make it, because again, it's on his own time. You're not paying for it and all that. So obviously, there's a limit. If he can't make it, he's got to tell people.
Of course.
It's not just jiu-jitsu. It's all the Gracie combative tactics, the C4C law enforcement defensive tactics. It's all controlling the situation, controlling your weight, your pressure, your body, the suspect's body, how to de-escalate, how to handcuff. That's huge. The handcuffing's huge. Like this past Sunday, we brought our duty belts in with the fake rubber guns that are for training, and if like the suspect's trying to grab your gun, how to effectively address that situation. Yeah. And it's all with not freaking out and choking them and elbowing them in the face unnecessarily, shooting them or anything like that. It's how to effectively control them until your backup shows up. And it's the whole Gracie thing is like the 100-second rule. If you can gas somebody out for 100 seconds, it's usually it'll de-escalate, and then now by that time you're back.
Cook them, baby.
Cook them.
Yeah. Cook them.
I can see that.
But he goes into so much more than that, and also I think he's retired now. Royce Stafford from Boonton Township is the other instructor, but it's primarily Joe that started this. I mean, I can't say enough about him, man. I don't think I'm saying anything that he doesn't want me to say. I would imagine.
Yeah, no.
I owe him so much. And then jiu-jitsu wise, he's a jiu-jitsu black belt at Pure. That guy, when I roll with him, he shows me so much. Dude.
Oh yeah.
It's just amazing.
Yeah. He is. He's very nice. Yeah. I think he was Joe. I think if you're listening, he was the first one to banana split me. He put me in a banana split, and I was like, "What the fuck is that?" And he was like, "Oh, it's the banana split." And I was like, "Oh fuck me." Didn't know there was a name called the banana split. Yeah, he's phenomenal, dude.
Yeah. This guy is like another one that he would get in mount, right? And I would start like forget. And what he'll do is he'll start throwing, fake punches and slaps. Because in my profession, it's reality, bro. You know what I mean? Nobody's gonna be like tap, or like, I'm tapping, bro. I ain't letting go, So he'll start doing that, and he's just controlling me with just his thigh squeeze. That's it, and I can't get out of it.
It's amazing.
But anyway, so where was I going with that, man? I was talking
Joe
about
Farina, incredible.
way before that, we were talking about.
Oh yeah, what the fuck? Oh, something. Hold on a second. What were we talking about?
Ego. Okay.
Ego.
So Joe is the one that brought this up to me. He's like, dude, you want to go from step 1 to step 50. You're forgetting everything in between, man. Like, you're just so fixated on the arm bar that you're just, I want to break the arm. Like, there's ways to set it up. There's positions. It's all technique, It's position before submission, right?
Absolutely.
And no matter how many times that was said to me, no matter how many times I said it to myself, like, I just wasn't doing it. And that's where the ego was for me. That was my point at the beginning of this whole situation, story, is that the ego for me was like, I want that. I'm fixated on this move. Like, I have to get that, and it's no longer there. It was gone 5 minutes ago.
Oh, I see.
And I'm not letting it go, and I'm not rolling out of it and flowing to something else. And then on top of that, I'm holding my breath because I want that friggin' position so bad, and that it's now gassing me out because I'm constricting my diaphragm, and I'm like, and this was what I did for so long, man. No matter how many times somebody said, like, bro, you gotta relax. Like, relax. You're bench pressing and you're squeezing and you're just trying to muscle your way through it, which is great for anybody, under the level of purple belt, maybe. Maybe I can bench press a blue belt or Heisman, them off of me, maybe. But how long is that? You're gonna do that for 1-2 rounds. We're doing six rounds, 6 different matches, rolls. It's not gonna work. So, and that's all of a sudden. And dude, when I got purple belt, a switch got flipped. Like, literally, because I was not expecting. Were you there for that? That was their anniversary open mat.
No, I wasn't there for that.
So you were surprised?
Dude, surprise wasn't even a word for it.
Dude, it's cool. Before you get into that, it's funny how you say that you were surprised with the purple belt, because I remember when you got promoted to blue belt.
Equally.
I remember you told the story about how you were clapping because you thought it was someone else that got promoted. And you were like,
this is even worse.
Oh, really?
Purple belt's even worse.
Tell it.
Before that, when I left for like a year, close to a year, I took off, right? I was a 3-stripe white belt. And then I came back and I was like, because my kids were still training, and they did the taekwondo, they did the judo, they did the jiu-jitsu, they did the karate, they get back to jiu-jitsu.
Real savages.
Yeah, I mean, no, because they come like once a week. They're not as savage as I want them to be. But I was constantly there and watching everybody. And I'm watching guys like Earl, who started way after me, just getting Scott.
Yeah, Coop,
I mean, just getting right to the ranks, and I'm going, man, that could have been me, dude, So that was messing with me a little bit. So I said, I think about coming back, And then when I finally signed back up, I said to Andy, like, how does that work? I was a 3-stripe white belt, and he was like, yeah, that was your rank. I was like, no, I want to start over again. He's like, nah, dude, like, no, you're a 3-stripe white belt. And here's this black belt that's been training for years. Like, dude, 3-stripe white belt and a no-stripe white belt, there's no fucking difference. Like, just come back, don't worry about it, And I'm like, no. And I come back, show up with like the white belt, And he's like, and so when he put, I think, the first stripe back on the second white belt, he was like, whatever, so dude, You
took away the stripes?
No, I did. I came back with a brand new white belt, because I felt like I had to start over again. And meanwhile, he's like, dude, it's not that big of a deal, trust me, But when I started now getting stripes again, it was just like a funny. I mean, he probably doesn't even remember this, I'm sure, but it was so funny when he put like that stripe. He's like, "This is your first stripe." I don't even know how to it doesn't make any sense, But anyhow, so it was a struggle, man, when I tell you the entire way through. And then at that open mat for their anniversary, for the 10-year anniversary, I was still fat now, right? So I mean, I was still big.
That wasn't that long ago.
No. I lost the weight in 4 months. We'll talk about that, I'm sure,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm dude. I've been like, so I'm just so you know, I'm on like 4 cups of coffee and 2 Monster drinks.
Bro, this is perfect.
You sure?
This
I feel like I'm motor mouth.
Dude, I'm loving this, bro. I'm loving this.
All right, good. Sometimes I feel like I don't shut up.
You're in the right spot.
So
for sure.
So we're all standing in line, and he starts doing promotions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, all right, this next one, I'm sure you guys all know who this is going to go to, because the purple belt was fucking 3 miles long. And my dumb ass is going like, the fuck is that for? I'm like, I'm a big guy. And I'm thinking of, what's his name? Is it not James? Oh my God, it's slipping my name.
Is he Noon or?
No. The big, he comes with his son, the big brown belt. Oh, what the hell?
Oh, Jason.
Jason, thank you.
Yeah.
I knew it was with a J. So I'm like, Jason's a brown belt. It's not his. Like, who the fuck? What fat guy's that for? And then big pasta. And bro, like when I tell you shock. Oh yeah, that's by the way.
Big pasta. Yeah, I love it.
So which I'm fucking so mad that I'm losing that nickname.
Oh yeah.
I'm so
dude.
mad, dude.
Oh, shout out Joe Campese.
Joe Campese coined that term.
He's called but now, you know what he said? He told me today. He's like, now he's little angel.
Little
hair. Angel hair pasta, which is genius.
Just,
Joe, that's genius.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Joe, thanks. Yeah, that's not emasculating at all. You know, big pasta come walking in, you know, he's just singing the fucking song and shit, and now I'm a little angel here, really?
Yeah.
First of all, people outside of jiu-jitsu might be thinking he's talking about something else, so let's not fucking even coin that term. So he says, like, all right, big pasta, and bro, the place erupts, and I'm just in like complete shock, dude, because I'm like, there's no way I'm purple belt level, like no fucking, still to this day, I'm like, that is not happening, you know. And I remember walking up there in complete shock, and I tie that fucking Hollywood knot. That is like impossible to untie, and it's drenched through to my underwear basically. I'm like, I can't even get the knot out, and I'm just like, now I'm just standing there, and they're waiting for me to undo it. And I'm like, I can't. And my forearms are shot because I muscle every technique, you know, instead of using actual jiu-jitsu, I'm just bench pressing people.
With your blue belt, you couldn't get it off.
I couldn't get the blue belt off. So I'm like, and you know, I can't see it. I can't see it because my big fat stomach's in the way. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Now I'm starting to panic. This is probably all happening within milliseconds, but I feel like I'm up there for fucking half an hour.
You feel like everybody's looking at you, your anxiety's
and they
going.
are, because they're all behind me.
And they're like, oh, this guy's a purple belt.
So I finally like am able to like rip the knot out, and now I'm like, I don't know what to do with the belts. I just like drop it, and then Campese's like, oh, that's real fucking respectful. And just drop your belt. Don't worry about it. Oh my god, I can't win here, bro.
Dude, that is such a Campese vibe. I fucking love it.
So they, you know, they tied a purple belt on, and then I remember thinking to myself, like, dude, I am not at this level, you know, but it's like almost disrespectful to think that, because, you know, their opinion obviously is much greater than my opinion. So if they think I deserve it, then great, you know?
No, they definitely know.
And I'm not, dude, and I'm not, like, I don't see up until working on myself a lot recently, like, I never saw my positives. Like, I don't see, like, my accomplishments. I would only look at my failures, you know? So the entire time I'm looking at all my jiu-jitsu failures, you know? I'm just like, oh, I suck so bad, dude. This cannot be my belt, you know? And I remember coming back to the next class, being, you know, kind of walking in like, fucking purple belt. I got shellacked. Like, the entire class, I'm like, getting tapped by like almost, you know, like 2 straight white belts. I'm like, oh, you know, it's
hey,
like,
man, dude.
Not for real, but I mean,
no,
like,
I know, but
you know, that's how I felt.
Yeah, but you know, whenever you get fucking promoted, dude, the lower belts are fucking
coming after your half.
Target on your
back, murder you. Yeah,
dude, for sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think I mean, with me and you, that was when you had your knee, so we flow rolled. But I remember when Todd became a purple belt, dude. Oh yeah, which the fact that you rolled through that is actually impressive. Yeah. But when Todd Captain, when he became a purple belt, the first, I don't know why, but instinctively, I have nothing against him. I love Todd. I was like, I want you now. I want to tap you. And I didn't, but you know.
Yeah. Dude, all that stuff is, and you don't realize how normal that is for everyone. You know what I mean? Like Kevon's shorts that he does, you know, on the Instagram.
Oh yeah, it's Kevon.
Yeah. Whatever you call them, clips.
Reels.
Reels. Thank you.
Shorts is
48, bro. Yeah.
Shorts, dude. I literally thought I was like, dude, did Kevon make shorts?
Are awesome.
He's selling shorts.
I was like, look at his shorts. They're amazing.
I was gonna give a shout out though. I want to give a shout out to Kevon. Yeah. Congratulations on opening Bodega Jiu Jitsu in Maplewood. So yeah, if you're in Maplewood or in that Essex County area, check out Bodega Jiu Jitsu. You'll love it. Kevon's a great instructor.
Amazing. He does all the jiu jitsu I couldn't do and still can't do. But, I mean, it's fantastic to try. You know, I mean, he's so good at it.
Yeah, right on.
But you know, so all his reels are like so spot on. With like, especially like the big guy jiu-jitsu, like are all coming after. It's like, it's like
awesome.
It's all real. You know, all true, dude. So, but anyway, so you know now. So if you want to get into now, this is how the transition started, basically around that purple belt.
Yeah, for sure.
So I got promoted in like it's September, right? Still fat and everything like that. I think it was late August actually is when I started trying to transform a little bit.
Okay.
Because what had happened, it's again.
Yeah. No. I was just counting my own. Yeah.
So booze was an issue.
Okay.
My whole life, right? Booze was part of the issue. Food was worse of an issue, but booze was always involved at one point or another. Not like AA level, you know, but I was always drinking from when I was like 16. You know, it's just alcohol
part
was
of
there,
life, yeah.
dude. You know, and listen, I mean, let's you know, the matter of fact, firemen, cops, Marines, like the trifecta of like guys that drink a lot. You know what I mean? It's just
nicotine,
nature. You know, chewing, smoking, whatever. The glutton. You know, I mean, if I have the 7 deadly sins, mine is gluttony for sure. You know, just a disaster for the most part. And you know, I couldn't go anywhere without a drink. You know, so that's kind of what started around summer of last year. I started really thinking to myself, like, dude, I'm like, you know, I can't be living this lifestyle anymore. I gotta like chill out on the booze, you know. And I was going through some issues also, you know, with that. So it wasn't just a social thing; it was self-medicating. Like and not that I had to have booze all the time, but you know, my basement is built like a theater. When we moved in, I made it like a theater with like a movie screen and all that. So my daughter, she's 10, she's like attached to my hip, you know. There's only so much fucking iCarly I can watch.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So
that's where the booze
that fucking show.
Yeah, so I'm like on a recliner, you know, like oh my god, and I got the handle of Tito's next to me or tequila. Those are my two. But it got to the point where I'm drinking like water glasses with no ice of tequila, you know, and it's not, and I'm not getting hammered.
Yeah,
that was the bad part. I wasn't feeling it, you know. So I'm like, all right, this is like an issue, you know. I mean, they're starting to become one. Wasn't violent, wasn't angry, none of that stuff. It was just that's what I would sit down there and do, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of that was to substitute the food issues, which I'll get into in detail if you want, you know, all that, you know. But so it was like I left one for another vice, you know.
So essentially, you had an eating problem, and then
huge, bro, from when I was a kid. Well, I'll get into that next, you know.
Yeah.
Because I definitely want to address that for anybody that's going through because it's bad, bro. You know,
sure.
When you're going through that and you don't have like an outlet, you know, it's tough, dude. Well, whatever. We'll get into that. So, so that's when I started, like, midsummer, said to myself, like, all right, I really got to start changing this, dude. I mean, I'm not 20 anymore, you know? And it would bounce back here and there. I would, like, matter of fact, I was at, like, a neighbor's pool party for their, like, 9-year-old, was my daughter's friend, and they had a DJ. And here comes the trifecta of the Cabbage Patch Running Man and doing splits on the concrete next to the pool. It was all, you know, hammered out of my mind, you know. So it was like, this is bad, bro.
I mean, you're doing splits as a big guy.
Yeah, but as a big fat bald dude, like, and you know, all the wives are in a circle dancing to the old school hip hop, and all the husbands who are supposed to be cool sitting in a corner, including me. I'm like, guys, watch this shit, you know. And I go like stumbling into this girl circle like an idiot, like Frank the Tank from old school, you know.
That's fucking
So that was my, you know, my stage of like a relapse, and then after that, I'm like, yeah, see, this is what happens when I drink, you know. So I'm not gonna do that anymore, you know. So I started cutting that out, and simultaneously, I just happened to go to a new primary physician, doctor, for my checkup, you know, and they wanted to send me for blood work because it had been a while. The results came back, everything was elevated. Nothing detrimental, but it was like elevated sugar, elevated liver enzymes, elevated cholesterol, high blood pressure. So I'm like, I gotta stop living like a Roman emperor. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, that's what I'm doing. It's just like, fucking salt, sugar, booze, you know? I mean, I really had like almost like a revelation of, I need to cut this shit out, you know? And that's how this sparked it. So everybody at Jiu Jitsu is always talking about this intermittent fasting, right? So actually, let's rewind. I'll talk about the eating issue first.
Yeah,
Would that be cool?
Yeah,
because this will segue into
for sure.
So you're Italian, right? Are you Italian? Or no?
Yeah.
Okay, so growing up Italian,
not as much as you guys, but.
right? Like, I mean, I'm like,
I got it in me.
Are you like first generation?
No, I'm second generation American. My parents are first generation American, so my grandparents are from Italy.
Close enough.
Close enough.
Yeah, 100%.
Close enough to know that when you go over to your grandparents' house and you're
food
full
is
as fuck, you're still getting fed.
Food is love, dude. I mean, it is equated. This is how it all started. There's a huge psychological issue with people that grow up in that environment, right? Of food. Like, so everything is food. So you're really almost, you know, you're doomed from the start as a kid because you're equating food with emotion, right? Food in an Italian household is social. It's love. It's not like, I mean, I don't mean like love is like coddling. I mean like you're sitting around, everything revolves around the table.
Yeah.
Right? So the table is the dinner time. Even you go to Europe, right? You go to Italy, it's all about food, man. They shut everything down for lunch, you know? So that's how that started at a very young age for me, you know, and not knowing, you know, just, okay, I'm going to eat and that's there. But then that turned into like, I mean, eating, dude. I remember when I was a kid, like young, like 8, 9 years old. Remember those Stella D'Oro cookies?
Oh my God.
The S cookies?
Yes. Oh.
Bro, it would get to where I would get like a coffee mug of like just a little bit of milk and then shove as many of them in as they would get soft, just like, and it became like a mud pie of this Stella D'Oro S cookie. And that soft feeling was like, it was like elating, you know, it was like euphoria, bro.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my God, this feels so good. It fills whatever the fucking void was going on at 8 years old, who knows, you know? But from that age, man, and that just got worse and worse and worse over the years, you know? So anything that would, and it didn't always have to be a negative emotion. It could be boredom. It could be super happy, you know? I remember up until even my cop days, dude, working nights, working like the midnight shift. What's open? Diners, McDonald's, gas stations. So I didn't pack a lunch, which I didn't. You know, what am I going to get? So it got to the point, dude, where, and I got a lot of stupid, funny cop stories, like to my own, unfortunately, not to my benefit, but to make fun of myself. Like, I would go to like 4 different pizzerias, so I wouldn't walk out of one pizzeria with a pie. It's like two slices. Yeah.
Is this because you didn't want somebody else to like judge you?
To this day, I hate eating in uniform in public.
Oh, I see.
I'm in public all the time, a community officer. I love being with the public. I love doing presentations. I love it. Eating in public, because of my eating issues, I'm shy about it. Because eating was always done in private, alone.
Yeah.
Elastic waistband.
Yeah.
Nothing that buttoned or zipped, you know? I mean, sweatpants just, like, at the end of Dodgeball.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Chuck Norris.
Yeah,
dude. Just like fucking shit everywhere, all over the couch, you know? And that's how I would do it in the cop car. You know, you can go. So that's the difference between alcoholism or being a drug addict, right? When you're a food addict, it's completely. I could drive the cop car eating a cheeseburger. Nobody's gonna give a shit.
No,
They'll make fun of me, but they're not gonna give a shit. I can eat as many fucking donuts as you want, right? It's acceptable. But what's that doing to my system? I mean, honestly, how many calories? When I started tracking calories, I'm like, damn, dude, I'm eating like 9,000 calories a day in food.
God.
Not even counting the alcohol. You know,
a lot of calories.
Bro, I would polish off Italians. You love Nutella, right?
Oh yeah,
dude. I'm polishing off like a jar of Nutella. You know, and that's just as an addition to whatever else I'm eating. It wasn't like the meal.
And in one night.
In one sitting. I just polish it off. Not the big one, but like the normal size.
I'm sure you're not alone in that. I feel like when people open up Nutella,
yeah, but not in addition to, you know, 10 buffalo wings.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, my go-to at one point, when I was probably at my heaviest, was like 9 slices of pizza. So I couldn't even finish. I had to be a pie and a slice. It was weird. Yeah, man. Like, dude, bro.
Like a plain pie? What kind of pie?
I mean, mostly plain. But, like, I like...
It's a lot of pizza, man.
And the thing is, because I'm a jolly, happy guy all the time and, like, fun and all that stuff, it became... like the joke, you know, and I didn't take it as like they're always making fun of me. I would partake with it too. I'm like, wow, watch this shit, you know, and it'd be like almost the cool guy by being the glutton, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Which you don't realize how damaging that is until later on, you know, in life. It'd be like it made it so much more acceptable. Yeah. Being that nobody, like, I was almost like, oh, I could eat around my friends, like it wasn't an issue, you know, because it was so funny. So like the Firehouse days, you know, especially in the mid-20s when I'm still single, living at home, you know, probably not a cop yet, but even probably like 25, 26. I became a cop at 27, so right around at the mid-20s mark, you know, we go to these clubs and bars and all that stuff and end up back at the Firehouse. But before that, we'd hit Quick Check. Dude, I would get, in high school, they had this snack that was like real popular. It was an everything bagel with cream cheese and Cool Ranch Doritos. Like smash it together and make a sandwich out of it.
That's a
fucking best snack in the world.
That sounds really fucking good, especially if you're drunk.
Oh, exactly. So I would get a sleeve of Lender's bagels. Yeah. So what is that, 12 bagels? I'd probably eat like 8 of them, you know?
Oh my God.
Yeah, man. With a jug of Philadelphia cream cheese, right? And a giant bag, like the big bag of Doritos. And I would just keep making these sandwiches and eating them, dude. Like after drinking my face off all night. So you want to talk about, like, I don't know how I'm alive, dude. I really don't. Like, I don't know how my arteries aren't clogged. Shit. I mean, that's just one example. This goes on and on and on for years. We're talking about over 20 years, probably since. Man. So the only time I probably didn't do that was when I went to boot camp in the Marines, because I couldn't, you know. But I remember being in years. So now I'm quitting cold turkey. For eating, right, in the Marines in boot camp. And I remember one of the recruits like stole a loaf of bread from the chow hall, you know, so like in the middle of the night, they're like, oh, we got bread. And there's like, you know, fucking 40 of us in a platoon. And I'm like, yo, give me that fucking loaf. Like, I'm like the fat, like, you know what I mean? 'Cause I'm dying inside, you know, my body's eating itself, you know. Now, at that age, I mean, at 18, I was, I think I graduated boot camp, I was 172 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was light, dude. But like, so I always had this eating disorder, but at a young age, in my teens, I mean, I would jog, I would eat like that, eat and drink my face off, even into my 20s. And then like, it's gonna be like a Friday night, but like Saturday mid-morning, I'm going for a 6-mile run. Cause I could, cause everything's brand new. My body was brand new, bro, you know?
Yeah.
So it never affected me until like late 20s. I became a cop. I was working shift work like that. I would work nights most of my career, so that takes a big toll on your body.
Yeah.
You know? So things started changing body-wise, man. You know, and I just couldn't. My system couldn't handle all that salt and sugar, man. I mean, sugar is probably the worst out of all of it. You know, but even the salt. Can you imagine how much salt and fucking eat everything bagels and cream cheese and Cool Ranch Doritos?
Yeah, for sure.
Imagine the salt content in that, man.
It's probably like fucking 15,000.
Yeah, and it's not like I'm
milligrams.
hydrating afterwards. You know, I'm going to bed. I'm passing out.
Yeah.
It was horrific. So I would wake up from a hangover just from food. I mean, really bad, dude. I mean, I remember I would eat a pound of pasta. That would be if I had pasta, it was a pound of pasta.
Big pasta.
Yep, there you go, bro.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember like eating pasta in that shithole apartment I lived in Paterson, sober, eating a bowl of pasta, like pass out from the carb overload.
Yeah.
Wake up, I couldn't like open one eye because it was like just all the gluten. I was like, and then what do? Grab the bowl and finish the rest of it, man. Yeah, it was fucked up. You know, and my roommate was this like, you know, dude's like all shredded abs and everything. He walked in and goes, what the fuck are you doing, dude? You know, look at yourself. And I'm like, shut up, bro, don't judge. You know? Yeah, man. So really, really bad eating issue.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I was never like, I never purged or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I used to hate myself for that, dude.
So,
you know?
so do you, because you just said a very important thing here. You said you used to hate yourself, but you would continuously do it.
Because
So
because the food made me feel better, bro. So here's the thing with eating. You watch any of these 600-pound Life or any of that shit. You know, all these like you Google or YouTube any eating disorder person that does an interview, hands down, they're gonna tell you the reason why they can't stop is because the food fills that void.
It's a dopamine.
The food doesn't hate you, bro.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you can have a fight with your girlfriend, a fight with your parents. You know, something gets fucked up. You don't get the job you wanted, whatever. Who's there for you, bro?
Food.
McDonald's, man. You know, that drive-thru's there 24 hours, man. You can get whatever you want. Big Mac and 2 cheeseburgers, no pickles. That was my go-to.
Big Mac,
2
cheeseburgers, no pickles.
Yeah, that was my go-to snack. Just not a meal, just snack, right? I mean, I don't know. There was times where I'm like, how am I not bigger, man? Like, it's just, thank God I'm active, right? So I have like a hyperactive personality where I always have to be moving around doing something. So I always had the mental motivation to go work out. Thank God, because if I didn't have that, I'd be dead, dude. There's 100%, man. You know, because at least that a little bit of working out, going to the gym, it sucked because try working out with that fuel.
Oh yeah, no.
It's horrible, you know.
No.
It's like, which is why fast forward to Jiu Jitsu and that gi going like, fuck, I can't stop sweating.
Yeah,
we didn't start yet,
shit,
you know, because all that salt was pouring out of me.
So you think that comes from your childhood,
Oh, yeah.
eating all the time?
Yep. I mean, my parents were great. You know, my dad's passed now, my mom's still alive, but it's that typical mom, like to this day, bro.
Finish your food. Yeah.
No, not even that.
Finish
It's
your
like,
plate.
can I do anything? Do you want anything? Is everything okay?
Oh, I see.
But, and it's just like, stop, bro. I'm almost 50. Chill, man. It's cold. Did you bring a jacket? I'm like, I'm fucking Paterson cop, goddammit. You know what I mean? Like, stop making me feel stupid.
That's fucking hilarious.
No doubt.
It's funny because all our moms are the same way.
Man.
Drives me. I love it to death, but it drives me fucking
Dude,
crazy.
one time,
man.
quick segue. I remember I like got a really gnarly cut that was in shape of an L on my hand, right? And I remember I made a fucking post. It was like live, laugh, love with the L on the scar, right? And I thought it was funny. And then all of a sudden I'm in a car with a girl, right? And all of a sudden my mom calls me. So my mom's calling. She's like, yeah, no, answer it. So I answer it and it's going through the speaker and she goes, don't forget to put Neosporin on there. And I'm like, all right, I ain't fucking, I'm not getting laid. I'm not getting laid.
Why is it the Neosporin?
I don't know, Neosporin's amazing.
I know, but my mom always says that too.
Yeah,
any little thing, you got Neosporin on that?
I fucking love it.
Thanks, man. Had a boner. Thanks a lot. Anymore. Dude, it's so true.
Buzzkill, Mom.
It's so true, man. Like,
No, but honestly,
funny.
no, but to that, like that's also an awesome thing to have.
It's
for a mother.
fantastic.
and I love
it's
it. Yeah.
great, but it can be a little bit of an issue, man, because that can cause issues. The other way. So you have your abusive parents, and then you have the ones that, bro, stop hovering. You know, I mean, at this point, I love it. I love her. Don't get me wrong, you know, but it's like it's always like. I don't know, you start talking about whatever issue you're going through. It was like, oh, yeah, okay, well, here's some spaghetti. Here's some pasta.
Oh, so she would slip in the food.
They all did,
okay,
you know?
yeah,
They all did. Anybody in that family did that, you know what I mean? So, whether it's grandparents, cousins, whatever, it's just food. Like, it's just no matter what, you know. Yeah. So, and subconsciously, you don't realize that's going on, man. You don't realize it until and, you know, I've been to, like, therapy and all that stuff, too, man, which, you know, I'm not shy to admit, because that shit's, anybody that's struggling with anything, therapy is huge. Talking to a stranger... It's huge, man. It'll help you through it. You know?
It's probably actually there's nothing
makes you stronger.
Yeah, for sure,
100%.
And it's the best. Like you just said it there, talking to a stranger. That's the best person you can talk to because they're a third party. Yeah, they're not gonna fucking give you bias. They're gonna give you the truth.
Yeah, because it's better than going on Xanax because you're fucking anxiety. Like, I'd rather talk to a stranger than go on prescription meds. You know.
Absolutely.
So it's like, that's that was one big hurdle. I mean, huge hurdle up until recently. So what happened was now to go back to
the intermittent fasting.
Blood work. So everybody at Jiu Jitsu would be talking about this intermittent fasting, right? And like everything else in my life that I get into, I just Google it. I read the first little paragraph that comes up on Google, and I don't research anything else. So I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. You just don't eat right away. So now I guess the true way to do it.
True though.
The true way to do it is like work out in a fasted state. And correct me if I'm wrong if you know more about this because I still don't know that much about it, but. Ideally, like 1 or 2 p.m., you have like your first of maybe 4 meals spaced out, right, throughout the rest of the day prior to bedtime. My dumbass is like, okay, so, and it says you have as much coffee and water. I'm a coffee addict, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. As long as I have coffee and water, I'm probably okay, you know? Yeah. But because I am, now, most of my gorging was in downtime. Most of my downtime was at night. Yeah. So it was a huge nighttime eater. So probably 6,000 of those calories came at like 10 p.m.
Oh shit!
And then go to bed. Horrific, man. I'm telling you, sleep apnea, high blood pressure, all that shit, man. Right? Yes. It could wake up with acid reflux, like I'm dying. All that stuff is, and the drinking and all that. I mean, it was just. I really don't know how I'm alive, for real, dude. Wow. I mean, because that alone should have killed me. So, I started. I read the little excerpt, like, okay, 2 p.m. That's when I'll start my meal. Now, I didn't start calorie counting or even worrying about what I was eating. I just wanted to see if I could last till 2 p.m. to eat, and surprisingly, within the first day, week, whatever, effortless, bro. Effortless to the point where I wasn't even that hungry at 2 p.m. because I would remember, I guess my body's so accustomed to being full until then anyway, and I would force feed, breakfast is the most important meal, as everybody says, so I would force feed myself breakfast. I was so not hungry because I just consumed 9,000 calories the night before, so it was still in my system. I talk about like gastrointestinal issues, like shits were like an M80 in a fucking jar of Nutella, bro. It would just fucking explode. It'd be like fucking cleaning the walls. Oh man, it's disgusting. Love it. So, and that's just bad. Digestion and all that shit's horrible. So to not eat during the morning, it was effortless. And then all of a sudden I started realizing, like, bro, I feel really good not eating, Like, I don't even know if I'm doing it right because I didn't take the time to research it, but not eating until the afternoon felt fantastic. I was more energy, just more, I started seeing myself more positive. Now, mind you, I'm off the booze quite a bit, right? And I'm not, like, on the wagon at all. I mean, it's like I'll have, a drink or two, maybe a glass of Guinness or something like that. But if I go out, if I'm at a bar with friends or whatever, I'll have, like, a drink, and that's it, and I switch, like, Diet Coke or water.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I started saying to myself, well, if I can go till 2 and my eating issues are at night, maybe I could start at like dinner time instead, So I pushed it to like 5 or 6. And then I started wanting, my jiu-jitsu career, or whatever you want to call it, journey up until this point, I didn't go to jiu-jitsu that much, maybe once or twice a week because I was fat, So, and like I just, I don't feel like going today or I won't, my mind would win. So I started wanting to go to jiu-jitsu more, being on an empty stomach. And then I'm like, well, if I go to jiu-jitsu at 6:30, I can't eat at 5. Like, that's just not going to happen because now I'm going on a full stomach and knee on belly, I'll be shitting all over.
Oh, yeah, dude.
So I'm like, all right, maybe I could put it off to like after jiu-jitsu, which would be 8 p.m., right?
Oh,
Think about this, bro.
Yeah.
So you're not eating at all?
I'm not
8?
eating till 8 p.m. And it was to a point where I'll explain when that fucking caved in hard, but it was working fantastic, dude. I was like, holy shit, I'm able to wait until the end of my day. Now, psychologically, because food is an issue for me, and food is not nourishment, right? I'm rewarding myself at the end of the day with food for being so good at the whole day, right? So that's how my mind was processing that, was like, oh man, I can't wait till I get that reward, that gift at the end of just eating. And now I started counting calories on my FitnessPal, right? So I'm like, yo, fucking 17 pistachios is that many calories for 17 pistachios or whatever it is, 18 pistachios, like stupid shit like that. I'm like, well, grilled chicken actually has some calories in it. I didn't realize that, because I wasn't looking at macros, I wasn't looking at nutrition, protein, none of that, just calories.
Yeah.
Right? So my FitnessPal said if I wanted to get down to 240 pounds, which was my goal weight from 300, I'd have to consume about and I wanted to lose 2 pounds a week. It was just under 2,500 calories a day.
Okay.
So I started saying, well, what if I do a calorie deficit? And I do like 18. This is all unresearched. I didn't consult any professional. I have no idea what this is doing to my system. But I'm like, I'm going to do maybe 1,800 to 2,000 calories per day.
That's like nothing compared to 9 or 10.
Right. So, because then I was like, well, that's a big difference, And if I can do that, I'm saying to myself, like, man, if I can do, let's say, 2,000 calories, about 500 calories less than what I'm recommended to do to get to that weight, maybe I'll lose more weight faster, So I would have now one meal a day around 8 p.m. That's how this all started with this intermittent fasting, right? One meal a day, 2,000 calories in one shot, which is a lot of food at the end of the day, but it was so much less than what I was consuming. So I'm actually on a huge diet.
And you're expending a shit ton of calories at Jiu Jitsu.
Huge, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I wasn't going to Jiu Jitsu every day, but I was going more than I ever did before, So the couple times a week that I was doing it was feeling really good, because I'm like, within a week, I'm dropping like 15 pounds. 10, 15 pounds in a week.
Damn.
And, I'm like, did that just fucking happen? So now I got addicted to the scale, and I'm like, I don't want it to go up ever, ever again. I want to lose this shit. And I've lost weight before, right? And I've lost a considerable amount of weight, 20, 30 pounds maybe, but not to this extent. And definitely not as sustainable. Excuse me. So I started becoming like the slave to the scale and watching that number go down, go down, and I'm like, yo, this is feeling pretty fucking good, dude, And if I and the weirdest part about it is the fasting wasn't affecting me at all. I wasn't hungry during the day at all. Even when I was eating, I was like, I don't really feel like finishing like half of this shit. And then all of a sudden, I lost the desire to eat red meat. I don't know where that comes from in this story.
Interesting.
I was a giant steak guy, bro. Like, I mean, I love filet mignon, ribeye.
Still to this day, you don't know?
No, I don't want it.
Yeah.
I'll eat it for like if it's around. I'll have like a bite. I'm like, I don't want it, man. But which is insane.
That's interesting.
I don't know what caused that. I have no clue. Then I started like kind of losing the taste for chicken. So I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this is crazy. I know. I think a pescatarian, if you're gonna label it anything, So I'll have like lean ground turkey meat would be the only thing other than fish that I eat. But I like the shop right where I live has the pre-portioned salmon. With like garlic.
Yep, of course.
Garlic butter. And that was like, I would heat that up and then have like the 90-second Uncle Ben's rice.
Yep.
And I'd be full, bro. And I would have like a salad with that, So it started becoming less than 2,000 calories. I'm like topping out at like 1,900, 1,850, and it was working so good, dude. And the weight just flew off, And then all of a sudden, like, the energy started coming, the positivity started coming. Now I'm not just doing jiu-jitsu, but I'm waking up at 4 a.m. and going for a jog. Or I was going to the gym and doing a treadmill, doing weights. And now I started listening to David Goggins.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
And that was the end of that, because you listen to that dude for like a day, you're like, oh man, I'm like such a piece of shit.
I ain't doing anything.
And now, so fast forward to where I'm at now is, I'm getting up. I ran 4 miles the other day. I haven't run more than a mile in 20 years, dude. I mean, for real.
Good for you,
Thanks, dude. And it was hurting. I'm having, I've always like, I don't want to say I'm injured, but I'm hurt from jiu-jitsu and all that stuff. I'm taking Muay Thai private lessons with Mike Lucione. Another shout out, dude, because that guy.
Metal Mike, right?
Bro, that guy, out of all the I actually posted this on Facebook, out of all the services I've been in, fire department, police, Marines, right? Tons of instructors within those venues, tons. That dude is probably one of the best instructors I've ever come in contact with. He's amazing. For anybody at Pure or even outside Pure that wants private lessons with Muay Thai, that dude is insane at teaching. It's so good, man. Just explain something so that my dumb ass can understand it in a way, you know, I'm like, oh, I get that, you know, and like changes the technique almost instantaneously.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. So, you know, so that's how that all started, and I started progressing more and more with like doing the runs, I'm doing ruck march. I did a 50-pound ruck march. You know,
God
right?
dang.
Awesome.
Yeah.
2 hours though. So
2 hours and 50
bro,
pounds.
2 hours. I don't care about the
That's
distance. I don't care about the time per mile. None of that. I want 2 hours door to door. And I picked all up hills. Right. So where I live is all hilly.
Wow.
All up hills, dude. When I tell you, I was getting to where my ankle felt because I was just coming off of a sprained ankle from Jiu Jitsu. So I wrapped it with that KT tape. That sports tape, I wrapped the shit out of it, and I'm listening to David Goggins talking about his 100-mile fucking
on the track. Yeah, oh my
where he's
god,
like
dude.
pissing dirt. And,
Yeah.
and I'm like, this dude's doing 100 miles. I'm at like mile 2, and I'm dying.
With 50 pounds
I
though
don't
going
give a shit,
uphill.
bro.
Yeah.
This is I lost 70, so 50. It shouldn't be that difficult, you know. And I'm like, you're a pussy, bro. Callous your mind, you know. My inner bitch is coming out. Like, I'm doing this whole David Goggins thing in my head.
I love it. Because I've done the same shit, man.
I'm like the fat guy's coming back in my head, you know. And it's like, you ever listen to Bill Burr?
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm not sucking dick. That's what I kept saying. I'm like, I'm not fucking going back. So I'm like just pushing through this first sprained ankle and shit.
Oh my god, this
dude,
is hilarious.
and this is at, you know, fucking like dinner time. So I can only imagine. You have to see what I look like. Like I look like, first of all, I'm wearing all jiu-jitsu rash guard shit. So I'm got a fucking freak show on the street because nobody wears these paisley color fucking all this shit out on a street, you know. So I'm wearing that. I have the Amazon 30-pound like actual weighted vest with the sand in it, but then I have an old backpack from the Marines with a 25-pound plate in it. So I look like a freak show, dude, you know? And I'm like, just, oh, fuck you! I'm like screaming shit, you know? I'm like, they're gonna call the cops on me, and I'm gonna be like, I'm on the job, you know? So it was just,
people are just going back, that man's got issues.
That dude's going through some shit.
Holy shit. Oh my god.
So to get to where it became dangerous, now this is going before the ruck march part, but one particular day, I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm at the gym at 5. I train, right? Whatever I did, running, whatever on the treadmill. Go to work. This is all in a fasted state. I get out at 4 p.m. I wanted to go to Jiu Jitsu at 6:30 class, so I didn't want to go home first, so I go to the gym again. And I run, and I'm like running on the treadmill, right? And I remember that was the first time I was actually like doing a pace. Like I never ran on a treadmill faster than like a 5 or 4.8 pace. So I'm running.
Yeah.
So I run like 2 miles on the treadmill, and then go to gi class, right? And we're doing chokes in the beginning. We're doing fucking choke this, choke that. I'm getting like tapping out because I can't breathe. All of a sudden, like the last or second to last round, I'm like, yo man, I'm pretty fucked up right now. I'm thinking to myself, like I don't feel good, you know? Like it was just tapped out from no nutrition in me. I stopped eating at like 7 p.m. the night before. I actually ate earlier the night before. So my last food was at like 7 p.m. the night before. And now it's 7:30.
So you're 24 hours.
24 hours in. Actually, it was probably more than that. I think it ended up being like 27 hours total. So I'm driving home, sweat my ass off, and I'm on Bluetooth. I'm on the phone with my buddy Mark. You know, Big Mark?
Yeah.
So he and I were in a race together, in college and everything.
So you told me you were when they would walk in the hallways, right? Yeah.
Let's not tell that story. No, we can.
No.
It makes me look like an asshole. So, so every class will call each other, right? And be like, oh, bro, I'm fucking tapped out by this dude. You ever roll with this guy's crazy? You know, bro, this guy's a fucking 3-stripe white belt, but he's a D3 wrestler. I didn't know that, you know, like that kind of shit. So we're doing that, and I'm on 80 from Rockaway, and I got to go about 5 exits. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, yo, Mark, I think I'm fucking passing out, bro.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, my
Yeah.
God.
Oh, shit.
Can I tell you the story?
No.
Oh, I thought I told you this. Yeah, so now I've been dehydrated before, right? It wasn't that. My vision, it was like literally going in and out.
Whoa.
Like it was doing it to where I'm swerving, and I'm like, Mark, I think I'm fucking passing out for real, dude. And he's like, pull over, you know? So, of course, I pull over. There's you know where that truck stop is on the West?
Yeah.
So I pull over on the shoulder, and I'm like, yeah, man, I'm not doing good. Like, I'm fucked up, you know, and I don't think I can make it home. You know, and he's like, yo, call 911. I'm like, fuck that, I'm calling 911. That's embarrassing as hell, right? So he's like,
I never thought about that.
Yeah, he's like, you gotta call 911. He's like, I'm in fucking Denville and I can't get to you. You know, he goes, where are you? And now I'm fucked up. I was actually in Roxbury. I'm like Rockaway. You know, I'm on 80 in Rockaway. So he's like, dude, just call 911. I'm like, all right, fuck it, you know, because I'm doing bad, bro. Like it just wasn't happening.
Yeah.
So I hang up with him. I call 911. It goes to the state police 911, right? So now the dispatcher starts doing their spiel, and I'm like, I don't want to be like I'm a cop, you know what I mean? So I didn't say anything at first. I'm just like, I'm not doing good. I think I need an ambulance, you know, or somebody here to watch me pass out because I'm passing out, you know. But then I roll the windows down. I take my sweatshirt off, and I'm in just a rash guard at that point, drenched, dude. So it was freezing out. So now I start waking up with like I'm doing that like jackhammering, shivering, you know. Yeah. And I start kind of coming to, and I'm talking to the dispatcher, and that's helping a little bit, you know, because I like kind of calm down because I know somebody that can help me is coming, you know.
Yeah.
So he starts, you know, dispatchers, they'll read off of a chart of what you should be doing, right? Which I know. So yeah. I'm like, bro, just stop. I get it, man. I'm on the job, you know, in the town I'm in. I'm like, just you don't have to go through the whole spiel, man. I'm gonna probably RMA, which means refuse medical attention. Yep. You just sign off the thing, but you can't leave. You gotta wait till the ambulance gets there, which I know all this already, right? So I'm using like the lingo. I'm like, I'm gonna RMA. I'm actually feeling a lot better. I'm not fully okay, but I'm definitely better than what I was. I think I'm gonna be okay. Just when they get here, I'll sign off. I was like, just tell the troopers, don't code 3 here, meaning like no lights and sirens. I don't need the embarrassment, you know. Unbeknownst to me, Mark calls 911. Bro, you got an off-duty cop passed out on 80 in Rockaway. Yeah. Yo, the cavalry.
Oh no.
Fuck yeah, Mark. That's awesome.
So that went to the state police as well, right? So now I guess the state police is talking to each other, and they know where I'm actually at. And I just see a sea of red lights, dude. And I'm like, motherfucker, I didn't need this. You know, not to mention I'm at a truck stop, so God knows what they think is going on.
Yeah, it's fucking hilarious.
Like I'm passed out at a truck stop, you know. So that whole like stereotype, you know. So the troopers get there. They were cool. They were awesome, man. The trooper gets there, and you know, I just felt like a dumbass because I'm just like, sorry guys, I mean, like waste your time. I know that feeling. You know, you get there, everybody's there, and you never feel like it's not an inconvenience, but to me, I felt like I was inconveniencing them, you know. And the trooper was cool shit. He's like, yo, I got a kind bar. You want it? And I, you know, my stupid ego. I'm like, no, bro. I'm cool, bro. I got it. I'm good, you know. But I should have eaten it because I didn't eat shit. So they were like, you want us to follow you home? The ambulance leaves, you know. So you want us to follow you home? I'm like, nah, I got like 2 exits. I'll be fine, you know. Thinking like, please follow me home, you know. Like ask for it. So, so they get back in their cars. I get back out and I start going. And now I call Mark back up. And I'm like, motherfucker, you call? Oh, and then I got guys from my job calling because apparently they made a courtesy call to my department. I'm like, great, thanks a lot, assholes. Like,
that's fucking hilarious.
My entire fucking department's calling me like, you're all right, bro? Like, yeah, I'm fine. How'd you find out? They're like, state police called us.
That's
like,
fucking hilarious.
You know? So, so as I'm going, the 2 exits, it starts to happen again. I'm like, dude, I have to get home. I need food. No, nothing else is gonna help me at this point. You know, I need food. Or at least electrolytes, something, you know. So I'm just trying to push through it, and I mean, I'm like, you know, you have that like lane adjust on the car, and it's like doing that for me, you know. And I'm like, I gotta get home, man. I can't. I'm gonna lose my shit. So I'm like, at least the troopers are behind me, and I'm like, it's weird. They're not pulling me over again. They just gotta see me swerving a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I turn off the exit. There's no headlights behind me. They never followed me, you know, because I told them don't. I said no, don't worry about it. So they were like, all right, and they listen. I'm thinking I got backup. I got nobody. Now I'm a good like 2 miles from my house, and I remember like pulling into my driveway, shivering, and I just like combat roll into my kitchen and like just grab something out of the refrigerator. But that's when I said to myself, right, that can't happen again. Obviously, I got kids, you know, I'm dying for fucking 10 pounds, you know. So that's when I started changing the way I was like, eating the food, you know.
Okay. Yeah. Dude, that's an incredible story.
Yeah,
because going to 8 o'clock before your first meal is not fucking easy.
It was fine. It was so once I got to 240, I hit my goal weight. I was like, posted it all over Facebook, right? We talked about before. I'm like, if it's not on Facebook, it didn't happen. You know? I was like, I hit my goal weight. Look at me, bro. I'm taking pictures of my shirt off and shit.
Fuck yeah.
Nobody wants to see that. So, I hit the 240 mark, and now I've been like, I got down now to just under 230 the other day.
Nice.
So I'm at 71 pounds total weight loss.
Okay.
Awesome.
That's fucking awesome.
But I'm fluctuating between like 232, 229, like that. But I mean, I never thought I would get there, never. And it happened in 4 months. Well, the bulk of it in 4 months, and then we're at 5 months.
That's amazing.
Do you know though? Like, this is an incredible like. I love how you just went from one day you were like, okay, I need to change, and then you changed.
Well, I'm an extremist.
Yes, but that's why you were able to do 70 pounds in 4 months, because 4 months, 70 pounds, bro. Yeah. Who cares if you did it right or wrong? Who cares?
Thanks for the props, man. But
what's kind of interesting, sorry to cut you off.
No, please.
What's interesting to me right now is this is the first time I've met you. So like this guy that you're talking about, that's 300 pounds, 315 pounds, miserable, drinking, eating all this stuff. I'm like, who was that,
bro?
I don't know who it is either. I would never fucking meet him again. I don't ever want to see that guy again.
If I didn't know sitting here, I would have had no idea.
There's two things I want to say about that I actually want to piggyback off that, because I bet you a lot of people, especially from Pure listening, are going like, because you just said miserable. Bro, when we saw you in class, you were never fucking miserable. You always sick, happy-go-lucky, for sure. Yeah. And another thing is, too, you said you're never going to go back to it. You never, and here's why. The fact when you hit 240, that was your goal. You then went to 230 because you didn't celebrate with a celebratory cake or pizza. Yeah. No, you went to 230. So, dude, it's gonna stay.
Yeah, I mean, I really feel that way too, and thank you both of you for the kind words, man. Because that's it's tough for me. I don't take that easily, like compliments like that. So I really appreciate that for real, man. Bro, yeah. But yeah, there was not. I mean, I was never like. I wouldn't say I was like depressed, suicidal, none of that shit. No. You know what I mean? But definitely behind closed doors, I'm like, dude, I'm not happy with myself, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just the feeling of being like that just sucks. So now, like, the mentality has changed. It's not just the physical part, it's mentally, it's like, I can't be around negativity, Nobody bitches more than cops, dude. When you see cops side by side with their cars, they're complaining. That's what bro, you're so fuck that guy. That's what's happening,
dude. You know on Parsippany 80, I always see the cops. Or when I'm going to class, I always see them like that. So now I know they're bitching.
I mean, they have computers in their car. They're doing their reports. They're doing their training. They're doing. I mean, it's their office.
Yeah.
But it's either a supervisor clearing them for shit, looking over reports and talking about them, whatever. But then there's also the other aspect of that. It's like a cancer, bro. And then you can, 22 years, like I said, I've been doing this job, bro. That cancer spreads quick. And then you find yourself bitching about stuff that really isn't that big of a deal, man. And it's no different than the other departments or the other careers, or, but you could spread that negativity very easily. And it's like, I mean, we could do it at Pure, Like you start bitching about somebody, whatever. And I was guilty of that too, because I found myself, and I'm sure a lot of people will even attest to this, because for the normal guys and girls I hang out with at Pure, right, that I see, I mean, and you're one of them. I would be like, oh man, I'm fucked up, like fucking Szymanski. Szymanski, you killed me if you're listening, bro. You did that scissor lock shit. I think he broke my liver. I swear to God, man, So like, I would come in and be like, oh, I can't roll today, and I'd be telling like Fox this shit who just had like open heart surgery. I'm like, I got a boo boo on my rib. He's like, bro, what? Are you fucking kidding me? It's like, no, I still got a fresh scar and I'm rolling, Here I am like complaining about a little bruise, But that's and I caught myself after this transformation or whatever. Like, dude, that just breeds negativity. Like, it doesn't just shut the fuck up and don't even talk about it. Let's talk about something else,
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I find myself in a circle of people complaining or whatever, I walk away now.
You have to leave it.
You're gonna leave it. It's so detrimental.
I think once you become aware of that, you're like, oh my God, like I can't be around this.
And that's now changed. Like, that's what I see the most change of. Forget the physical stuff. Like, I see the mental positivity.
That's
oh fuck yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, boy, people fucking have been like Andy and Mikey probably have been living this dream for their entire career, being that like athletic, and I can't imagine like it's for me it's all brand new, but bro, I envy guys that have probably been in that for years.
But bro, dude, like physical fitness that breeds your mental fitness. So when you're physically fit, dude, you're mentally fit. It's just I'm not a fucking doctor, but that's just I'll say that's a scientific fucking fact, bro, because you like you said, you immediately felt better. You want to know why you felt better? Because you held yourself to a standard, and you accomplished it. Like, come on, that's insane.
Yeah, man. And it's just and like the other day when I was doing that 4 miles, right? I was only the second time. And
these are the 4 a.m. videos that you post. I fucking love them.
Yeah, which I get my balls busted constantly, bro. Because I'll put like I'm like if you do nothing, you change nothing. So I'll get to work and people. Now, see, this is where like, and I don't care if guys from work are watching this, but that's where you like. I don't know if it's jealousy or whatever, but like, why are you watching my shit or following my shit? Just to
that's the shit I love.
So I'll come in and be like, oh, if you do nothing, you change nothing. I'm like, yeah, you're right, motherfucker. Like, I changed it. So fuck off, So I'll post it whatever the fuck I want. I don't care.
I gotta follow you now because I love that kind of content.
Well, so if you follow me on Instagram, it's weird because I suck. I can't navigate Instagram. I don't know how to do it.
Okay.
Like, I'm good at Facebook.
Dude, I'm still thinking about you said shorts, bro. But like, I'm not even making funny. But that's fucking hilarious. Like, I really thought he was selling shorts.
You guys have MySpace or
no?
I deleted my account.
I'm kidding. That's I'm rotary phone technology. That's my level.
Hey man, but you know it's probably better, dude. Fuck it. I mean, I say that I'm on my fucking iPhone all the time. Like,
well, you know, like so to go to David Goggins, right? Like the guru of everything. Like, dude, that you'll get sucked into. You'll be on the shitter till your knees fall asleep. Okay, on Facebook and Instagram. And
I get lost. When you said that, I could picture him saying that in his voice.
Oh, he does.
Be on the shitter.
Yeah,
I'm picturing him right now.
Yeah.
You know,
he's gonna carry the boats.
Like, I don't watch that. I don't go through that shit. He's like, fuck that. You know?
Yeah.
I love that guy.
Yeah. You know, he listens to
Jocko.
the show, right?
What's that?
David Goggins listens to the show.
He's probably like, stop fucking talking, bitches. Get out there.
Get out there.
These pussy motherfuckers. They're sitting down for over 2 hours. I just ran 26 miles in 2 hours.
That's
fantastic. Man.
No, but yeah, Goggins, Jocko, all great content, bro. All great. I don't know them personally, but great people.
Sounds good.
Hey,
listen to the show.
Jocko's like, who the fuck is this guy?
But I want to hear about that mentality of, you know, like what flipped the switch for you? Was it like your health? Was it, man, I just feel like shit. I want to change.
Essentially it was a combination of honestly the purple belt and the blood work. If I had to pick two things that happened, it's so weird, man, because any other time I've tried weight loss, and I've tried all the fucking diets, the Atkins, back when Atkins was a thing, keto, but again, I'm barely Googling that shit, so whatever I can find in a sentence or two, I would try it. You know, like I think Atkins, it was like, oh my God, I can eat cheese and bacon all day long? Fucking
hell yeah.
Where do I sign up, you know? Yeah. But that's not sustainable, you know? So I would drop the weight, be like happy, and then right back to it. But the entire time, alcohol was always there. So I think the combination of the surprise of getting this purple belt and like, holy shit, am I really like worthy of that? And now I have to try and live up to it, kind of motivated me physically to start moving around a little more in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And then the blood work happening right after that, being like, I need to I want to bankrupt the state with a pension. I'm retiring in under 3 years. I want to get that pension check fucking till they're bankrupt. I want to die 5 years later. Yeah. Statistics are cops die 5 years after retirement.
Really?
That's the statistic.
Why do you think that is?
Hypertension, alcoholism, divorce rate, depression. I mean, you name it, dude. You know?
So you're saying fuck that. You're not gonna be that statistic.
I'm not gonna be that fucking
good for you,
dude. You know, not this close. I just see that light at the end of the tunnel now. You know, it's so close.
Bro, you got a journey. You got to make it to black belt, bro.
Dude, I'm gonna be like Ed O'Neill, man. Fucking, you know, what's his name? Al Bundy. Was he like 62 when he got his black belt? I think something so, like that. You know, I can't I'm never leaving pure, like never, dude. You know, the only reason why I didn't sign up for the recent deal of a lifetime membership, I'm like, well, I mean, even the statistic, if I don't make it that long, it's I don't get my money's worth. So, but you'll never see me out of there. I may not come, you know, because I do have to like. Dude, at this age, there's not many. So that, you know, over 45, there's not that many guys there. I don't think that are that, you know, in that age range. There's a handful. Yeah. There's a handful, definitely. You know, but there's more. Like, I was rolling. I forget who I was rolling with on the open mat for New Year's Eve. You know, but hard as hell, dude. And then I stopped after we were done. I'm like, bro, how old are you? He's like 22. I'm like, fuck, dude, that's 26 years younger than me, man.
Yeah, bro, that's a whole different fucking energy.
Fast. Yeah. It's like the speed and all that. I mean, so
you gotta come. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go for it. Go.
The old man. You gotta come to Lobo Friday nights.
Yeah, man, give that shout out.
35 plus masters class.
I know.
Bill Pollard.
Yeah, it's Friday night though. I'm in bed by now. Yeah. But no, I mean, so that is definitely a legit issue. Is keeping up that pace and all that stuff. So I'm not there 5 times a week, you know, but you're never going to see me leave that place, dude. No, like, I'm at Pure till I die. You know?
Bro, it's like you said, it's a journey.
It's a cult, man. Yeah, it's a cult for sure.
And talk about positivity. Man.
It is.
And I'm sure this is jiu-jitsu in general, but definitely at Pure. Bro, I don't know one dude there that's an asshole.
No,
not one.
No, they get
good people.
So they weed themselves out, dude. They weed themselves out.
But I don't even see them really come in the door.
No, they don't because we're big on energy, right? Like what you attract to what you are doing. That whole place is just one big ball of energy of positivity, bro.
Yeah, man.
I mean, people who want to strangle each other for positivity.
I mean, there's people there, and you know, and even it's not even in the time I've been there, but in the recent past, that like know more shit about me than some of my best friends do, man. Yeah, you know what I mean? For real, because you're on the mat for so long. I'm stretching for a half hour prior. And you're just sitting around. I'm watching my kids train with other parents that train adults that train, and they're watching their kids, and we just start bullshitting, and it's like, oh, you're going through that too, bro? Yeah, let me tell you about, my story,
Yeah.
And it's just a bond that's, I mean, shit, when you're getting, sweat in your eyes and in your mouth from another dude.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's
in that environment.
It is. In that environment. Just that environment.
I think it creates that bond, man, and it's like you're just a different type of friends,
well,
man.
Coop said it on the show. He says, basically what you're doing is you're simulating murdering your friend, they tap, and then you're just 100%. Chill afterward. And it's like, dude, it's, like you said, that with the sweat in this environment only is a body.
I think that's probably the coolest thing about jiu-jitsu, man. It really, really is. Because you can go to the weight room, you can go bodybuild, you can go lift weights next to somebody. Yeah, you might see him every day, but there's not that bond there. It's like, it's just different. You can't explain it until you're really a part of it.
It's crazy, man. And so going back to the law enforcement thing, dude. So my department, right? I train normally. Nobody else. Oh no, I'm sorry. One other guy trains at Lobo actually. Just started.
Okay.
But like just started recently.
Gotcha.
There was one other guy that got injured that was training for a little bit of pure. So it's 3 guys out of a department of our TO is about like 113, something like that, right? There's one guy that comes to the free classes and a retired guy that comes to the free classes. Out of the entire department, dude, in a career where shit, you better know something. It drives me insane. And then you look at an open mat that's got 120 people in there, bro. Now luckily Pure, like we said, is legit awesome people, man. But what if they're not? Right? What if you got that many people in comparison to cops that should be training who know that shit?
Yeah, dude.
And now in this culture, in this age, in this this era, your chances of coming up against somebody who knows how to fucking rear naked choke you,
dude. That's a good point.
and you can't rear naked choke them by policy, right?
You see all the time these videos of these cops that are trying to subdue it,
it's
and
embarrassing,
and they're getting their ass kicked.
Horrific.
And
I don't want to end on like going into like a negative note, you know what I mean? Because we've been so laughing and jovial, but if you watch a lot of that stuff in its entirety, right? Now, the defense to pro law enforcement, anti-law enforcement, you'll hear pro law enforcement be like, we only seen like 5 seconds of that clip. Very true, right? You don't know what happened before or after. You can't, you're not there in the officer's eyes. You're seeing the camera. Sure. I get all that. I do. But if you look at a lot of those situations that aren't no-shoot situations, they're physical, right, hands-on situations, it's more just a tug of war, right? And if you're not on a game plan, like, so the law enforcement classes we do on Sundays, we talk about multiple officers on one suspect. So if now I have no communication with my partner, me and you are partners, right? And now this guy doesn't want to get handcuffed and he's resisting. I want to take him to the ground, but you want to put him up against the car. What's that going to feel like? It's going to feel like he's fighting.
Yeah.
I'm going this way, you're going that way. We're like, fucking stop resisting, bro. And he's like, I'm not anymore, And that's a very real thing because now you have an untrained, tactically untrained officer, right? That only knows gun, baton, mace, and all that stuff, pepper spray, whatever you want to call it. An untrained cop or 2 untrained cops doing a tug of war. You get, as you know, in jiu-jitsu, right? That adrenaline, that tightness, your fear. You're just like, oh, and that's all coming into play, and it's real life. It's not a role, So all that stuff comes down. That can end really bad, bro. And then all the guy's doing is like he doesn't know which way to go. So there's got to have that open communication. That's what the law enforcement defensive tactics class addresses with multiple officers. Like,
it's fucking awesome.
Like, yo, buddy, I got this. I got his arm. Get his legs.
Gotcha.
And you're talking. I got this guy. Or side control.
Yeah.
Side control. What do? I force my shoulder into the thing, right? I'm trying to put my head to the mat and all that stuff. Well, guess what? I can't do that in the street. I got to look and see if his buddy's coming with a soccer kick to my head. I can't keep that side control. So now you're losing that pressure a little bit because you're got to be aware of your surroundings, what's behind you. So there's so much that goes into a real life situation with a law enforcement thing. These guys got to fucking train, man. They got to get on the mat, So because
I'm glad you said that.
So we're going back to Pure and how great everybody is. Let's stick on that.
No,
I don't want to go back into that.
No, but you said it. You kept it positive, and that was
I hope so.
perfect.
I didn't want to go back into that rut, but yeah, man. Like I can't say enough about Pure, and it's funny because there's other people have pasts at Pure. Some of them, right? I'm not going to name any names, but there's people that have pasts. So in what other environment would you have a squeaky clean cop and somebody that has a little bit of a sketchy past, best friends, dude, and hanging out and can kill each other and don't do it. You know what I mean?
Do it, exactly.
And it's like, bro, look how this the sociological part of me.
Yeah.
It's been a couple hours of talking. I can't remember. That part of me, that love for humanity and community and culture and all that stuff. Like, where else are you gonna see that, dude? I mean, that's beautiful to be like, bro, this guy's like one of my good friends, and we're rolling around, and we come from two totally different walks of life.
Yeah.
You know, Pure is all about that, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's fantastic. I can't say enough about it.
No, I agree with you 100% on that. And Lobos is I'm assuming the same.
Oh, yeah. They'll come from there.
Colleen and Adrian are great. Yeah.
And I'll give a shout out to Toro MMA too. I just did their open mat and there was a handful of people there that the day after New Year's Eve open mat, which I had no business doing anything athletic the day after. I was in so much pain. But those dudes were awesome. So shout out to Craig and Quinn from Toro too, man, because they come from Pure as well, you know. And I miss Craig because he taught, and I'm not trying to like bash him, but he taught old fat guy jiu-jitsu really well, bro. It was fantastic. I was like, it was like the alter ego of Kevon.
Yeah, that's fucking
that great. I could do. That I could do.
So,
that's great.
Remo, one final question on as far as your fitness and all that stuff. What do you say to somebody who's at day one right now, who was in your position, that's like, man, I just had a pie of pizza, I'm eating donuts, I'm having 10,000 calories a day, I hate myself, I'm miserable, but I'm just hiding, I'm hiding under the food. What do you say to that person that's just starting out?
Well, that's a fantastic question too, man, and I got to think about that for a second because I've been there so many times. So I think my first reaction is going to be, you're going to have a lot of day ones, man.
Yeah.
Like don't beat yourself up over it. I beat myself up over it so many times because I'm like, fucking failed again. I went from, let's say, uniforms, not forget wardrobe, but uniforms, right? I got like 5 different size uniforms in my locker at work because I would go and fluctuate a lot, never to where I'm at now, but I would fluctuate a lot. So it's so defeating because I'm like, bro, really? I got to get in that uniform again? Like, what the fuck? What's wrong with me? And you start beating yourself up over it, which is going to lead to more food because it feels better and it loves you, right? So you're going to relapse. You're going to have those setbacks 100%. You're going to have a switch get flipped at some point. At some point, it's going to be a point where you're going to say, enough, man. Like, that's enough. I can do this. And the way I say get to that is, and I'm going to quote Goggins again, right? Don't snooze your alarm, man. If you're going to wake up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym and your alarm goes off, don't hit that fucking snooze because like he says, right, I live it, so it was like a mantra, is you wake up to a failure already. And that snooze button, you're failing. So don't do that.
Sure.
Get the fuck up.
Yeah,
but you compensate because it doesn't affect you. I'm talking about the fat guy or girl that's in the situation I was in.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't start your day with that failure, bro. Let that be your one accomplishment. So if you don't hit the snooze button and you get up, maybe you don't make it to the gym, but go for a fucking walk.
Yeah.
And like just make that your accomplishment. Just don't fail. Don't say, and I don't mean don't fail overall. Just don't start with that one little failure because that will make or break mentally. Because food addicts, whatever you want to call us, you're wired differently, man. You're not normal. Like I don't mean that as a
like a
bash.
pejorative. Yeah.
I don't mean that. What?
A pejorative?
We're using words that I'm taking offense to.
I don't know what that means.
For those of you who may not be watching, Remo was about to square up with you. I'm kidding.
Fuck you call me?
So, just say jump.
Oh my god.
Anyway, you pejorative.
I'm a born Jordanist. Did you say good morning to me in Italian? So that's, I would say, like, make a small accomplishment, man, because that's how it starts, is just one tiny thing. If you'd be like, I succeeded that day, but then use the momentum to say, all right, maybe tomorrow I wake up and I go for a 2-block walk, just start small, man. You're not gonna, like, all of a sudden it happens. Like, I turned around one day and it was a month later and I'm down like 30 pounds or whatever it was. It was like a crazy amount of weight. And I was like, how the fuck did that happen effortlessly? And it's only because I just kept going.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
And I was just ready for it. Mentally, I was ready to do it. Like, when you're ready for that change, you're ready,
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, man.
Like
So
that.
that's, I think, what I would be my first reaction to that. You know, the other thing is, bro, what's on the other side of that accomplishment is unfucking believable, man.
I love to hear that.
You know, you set that 2-hour mark with a 55-pound rucksack, and at like, 45 minutes in, I'm like, bro, this fucking sucks. What am I doing? Why am I doing this? You know, and then I just be like, what if I make it to my door, 2 hours? You know, door to door. What if I make that? Like, what's that gonna feel like? You know, and all of a sudden it's like, all right, it's an hour in, half over. You know, you just start making those like small mental and put something in your head, like a David Goggins or Jocko Willink or music or whatever the fuck it was. You know, I used to put like the Marine Corps running cadences and just be motivated that way. And then all of a sudden, bro, it's 2 hours, 5 minutes. I fucking did it. I can't believe it, dude. You know, and
that feeling is just amazing.
And I stripped that backpack off, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I did it. You know?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
It's an accomplishment, man.
That's cool.
You'll get there. You'll get there. It doesn't have to be major right away. You know?
Yeah.
Love it.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
I love how the common theme with that though is that I see with you is you're always going above and beyond. So you're taking the Ed Milet's approach of just do one more. So you said 2 hours. Next thing you know, it's 2 hours and 5 minutes. And that's even more powerful.
Yeah.
Because you saw that you not only accomplished your goal, but you did even more.
Yeah.
That's like goes back to Goggin with 40% of the brain.
Dude, and that's the thing. The mind, he's right, dude. Like, I hate to be like, sucking him off right now, but it's like he deserves it, bro. It's like he talks about how powerful that mind is. It can go either way. So like, if I say to myself, if I did 4 miles, well, maybe next time I did 5. What would that feel like?
Yeah.
You know, or like, shit. I mean, it's not that much more to do a little bit extra. So let's just start there. But do an extra block of a run. Fuck it.
Absolutely.
And then it just all of a sudden makes it, cold showers is another thing, dude. The Wim Hof shit.
Dude,
Fuck.
bro.
Are you into that?
I am not dunking myself into a tub of ice yet.
I'm not there
I think
yet,
I'll get
man.
there. But the cold showers are fucking awesome.
Oh,
dude, it's all about your breath.
I think I'm allergic to the cold. Like it's. I hate the cold, man. I hate it.
I started with like 10 seconds of a cold shower at the end of my shower, and I was like, "Fuck this! This hurts, dude." My big fat titties like getting.
Are you going like ice cold, like
full cold?
All like
full cold, okay. Yeah. And then
do you know how many degrees that is in a shower? Like
I think it's warmer than like 40. Like I think the ice buckets are like 41, 46. So it's warmer. It's not. It's actually not that cold.
Like ground temperature, like 55.
Yeah, it's not that cold. It's cold for not taking a cold shower, definitely.
Yeah.
But that started, dude. I went running. Remember that the last couple weeks was at 6 degrees outside?
Yeah.
I went running in that shit, dude. My eyelashes froze.
Dude,
I had icicles on my eyelashes.
Nice.
My water bottle froze. I couldn't even drink it.
That's
as I was
fucking
running.
dope, bro.
And I was like, fucking Wim Hof, man.
Yeah.
Like I was like, started talking in Dutch accent and shit.
Some of his stuff is just insane.
It's fantastic.
Have you done his breathing techniques?
So I've done the tutorial.
Okay.
Right. First of all, I'm gonna pass out doing it. It's like you can't
inhale
and exhale that fast.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna pass out. I have not. I've tried it. I can't. He's like, okay, now hold your breath for a minute. I'm like, a minute, bro. It's been like 3 seconds. I'm like, So I haven't gotten to that point yet. But definitely, I'm up to. I think my max was like 3 minutes 50 seconds of a cold shower.
Oh,
which
nice.
is long.
That's a lot. That's very long when you
Did you notice from your first cold shower you did till now, like you're like it's not as hard?
I can probably stay in it.
Yeah.
And you know why? Because I use it as like an ice pack for whatever hurts. So if my lower back hurts,
okay,
just bend over. As I have like the walk-in shower.
Yeah.
So I just like stand up, like slightly bend and get some cold water on my back or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Just,
I think that's like I think the cold water and the ice exposes you of how mentally tough you think you are.
Dude, I think about like the Navy SEALs training.
Yeah.
How the fuck they go in an ocean?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, they go in the ocean.
You're on your own.
I don't know,
dude.
Waves hitting you and shit.
I was listening to I think it was Jocko's podcast, and he had one of his a SEAL. They had a SEAL on, and it was Kim, the astronaut. I think his last name is Kim. And he was talking about how they do the Hell Week, and you get 1 hour of sleep in the week. And he says that when they wake you up, they'll whisper in your ear, and they'll just go, and it's like, fuck that, dude. You go imagine 1 hour sleep in Hell Week, and then you go in freezing cold water. Coronado is fucking, California is fucking cold.
It's different. Dude, but think about that. Then you're getting waves crack. Like, so in a cold shower, and you're like,
yeah.
Right? Can you imagine in the fucking ocean? You get hit with waves and you can't control anything, and boats are getting yelled at. Like, I'm such a pussy. when in comparison to that. Like, how the fuck did they go through that?
I think it's speaking about Goggins. He has a clip. I forget where this was from. It might be in his book. Can't Hurt Me. I don't know if you've read that.
Yeah.
Where he's like, yeah, we're we're in the ocean and we're all crying like little sissies and ringing the bell and hopping out of the ocean. We look a mile down the beach and little fucking kids swimming in the ocean, playing in the water.
Yeah, dude, it's
true.
Fucking.
And I mean, he's
mindfuck.
it's a total mindfuck.
Yeah.
So.
Granted, they're not on an hour of sleep for a week, but
it's a little different. But you can hear
100%, man. You know, I love when he talks about boat crew too. Can't hurt boat crew too. He's trying to break the instructors. He's trying to fuck with their minds.
That is fucking cool.
I love that guy, man.
Yeah.
He's just a different breed of people.
That's for sure.
Yes, he's an elite.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, bro. Would you believe me if I told you guys we're at fucking 2 hours and 5 minutes,
awesome.
and I cannot believe it.
I
did
love
not
it.
fucking that combo did not feel like that, bro.
No way.
That was a fucking dope combo.
I had such a good time here, bro.
Hell yeah. Well, we still have another
We got
segment.
some
We got questions, and we do have some pure people questions.
couple of answers, hopefully.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm sorry. Did I go that too long, dude?
No.
I feel bad now.
No.
I just have to do
Why
it.
are you apologizing, bro? This is
I
awesome.
went on too
No,
long.
this is good.
Absolutely
All
not.
right.
No, bro. This was fucking 2 hours
awesome.
full pack.
All right.
No, I just mentioned that because every time we always say this. Every
And
time
I always feel a
it
good
always feels
conversation.
like fucking 2 minutes,
Yeah.
dude.
A
This
good
conversation
I
is
had a
awesome.
blast here.
Feels
bro.
like a
This
half
is
hour.
great.
Yeah.
Bro, there's so many gems.
It's funny because I was like, what am I going to talk about?
Isn't it
2 hours later.
crazy?
Why is that, bro?
Yeah.
Everyone
Yeah, it's
always
crazy.
says that. Everyone's like, dude, what am I even talking about, bro? Talk your life, dude. There's so much. I bet you our listeners are like, holy fuck,
Well,
this
dude,
is so
I'm
incredible.
thinking to myself, like, I'm not that interesting, man. What the fuck can you invite me on there for? You know, it's
That's
crazy.
that's maybe one of the most interesting parts of podcasting so far is when you're just having good conversations, just like good, you just flow.
Yeah.
It's kind of like jiu-jitsu, you just flow.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's just an interesting thing. I
Absolutely.
think, for sure.
You got me nervous now with these questions coming.
No,
up.
well, so I got 2 in. I got 4 or really 5 in total because Anthony always puts in 5. So we're gonna start off here, and this is gonna get into another topic, another secret of Remo. From Scott. There's 2 questions. The first one is favorite mural you've painted because you're an artist.
Well, I mean, thanks, but I want to classify.
I think you're an artist.
I think so, man. You showed the pictures to us before the show.
Favorite? Wow, man, that's a tough one, dude. So, so I paint acrylic, right? And the way I got into this was through my whole life. I like to do that shit, but it was when I visited Paris and also Venice.
Oh, nice.
That's why I got like super artistic. So I started painting from like cartoon murals for like kids' rooms because that's what I would do mostly, like nurseries and that kind of shit, into like painting like scenery, you know. So man, that's a tough. So I did a painting of Venice with boats, with gondola boats, and I used a palette knife, which is just like, I don't know if you ever seen one of those. It looks like a butter spreader, kind of. And it's like it's. So that was real. I like that a lot because it was like with texture, and I never did that before. That's one of my favorites. But probably my favorite one is the St. Michael one.
Oh yeah, the one
That
where
was
they
incredible.
that one's fucking
dude.
sick.
Yeah,
That one's sick. Yeah.
That took like 13 hours to paint, man.
Oh my god.
And that's when I first started like going, oh shit, like I think I understand how to blend, like blending to make detail.
Yeah.
It's all about the detail. Like, so where you take like a Buzz Lightyear cartoon on a wall, there's detail, but then there's fucking detail. You know what I mean? And it's like, wow, I get like the whole light, where the light is coming from in the painting and that. So that was probably one of my favorites, man, is the St. Michael painting.
Yeah, that one was sick.
Are you doing it freehand or are you doing like a template?
No, freehand.
Yeah.
So I'm not creative. I'm artistic. That
Okay.
makes sense. So if you say like, bro, can you design me a logo for my new business? I'll be like, probably not, dude. But if you show me the logo, I'll paint it on the wall.
Gotcha.
You
Oh,
know?
it's interesting. I never thought about it that way.
So
Yeah.
like I can probably draw you from a picture of you.
Yeah.
You know? Or the mural at Pure.
Yeah.
The black belt. Like I can do that easy.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Gotcha.
an easy one. But if you asked me to like design something, I would probably Google image a shit ton of ideas and then be like, what if I did this, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, that's why I don't really like put too much props on myself because I'm not as creative for like being artistic, you know. But it's still, I mean, it's still talent, I guess. You know what's crazy is the eye that for symmetry correlates to shooting a gun. I never realized that,
really?
because I've never dropped around, man. I have like, not to again pat myself in the back, but like marksmanship shit, like, with a handgun. It's like, you know, at a target, not moving targets and shit.
Yeah.
Not as good, but a static target. that precision of putting that front sight post on the target correlates to painting. It's crazy, man.
That's awesome.
That is
But anyway, to answer Scott's question, there's got to be a fucked up question in there from Scott. Is that
No,
the only one he has?
no, he's
That's Scoop, right? We're talking
It's a
about.
Scoop, yeah, it's a Scoop.
Fantastic. I love that guy, by the way.
Oh yeah, Scoop.
I can go on an hour just talking about him.
Yeah. We'll probably have to get you both back on the show.
That'd be good.
Yeah,
Yeah, Scott, come back on.
He's such a good dude, man.
Craziest story on the job.
Craziest story on. Fuck, man. All right, so there's a couple probably, but funny or just crazy? Because I have a funny one and I got like I'll do the crazy one first.
Yeah.
So,
funny would be cool too.
So like there's a couple of them, man. So we got called to a suicidal female. And we got to the house, and the husband's like, she's been suicidal, she's struggling, whatever, but she means it, and she went off to like kill herself, And we were in a residential neighborhood. There was a lake in this neighborhood, right? So if you picture the lake as like the center of a bicycle wheel, the streets went off like spokes, right?
Okay.
So we're on one spoke, one street, and we have no idea where she went. She just walked off. Dude, I'm not really spiritual or religious, dude. Something told me to go that way. I don't know what the fuck it was that told me it was at night. It was pitch black. I don't know what the fuck it was that told me to go that way, man. But I went like 3 streets over. Now you can picture out of a lake environment with all these streets, spewing off like spokes. What the fuck possessed me to go right where she was? But wow. she was lakeside, like at the thing, and it already slit her wrists sitting up against a tree. And now, like, you got a picture at night. You ever shine a flashlight, right? So you can picture that illumination. Like I scanned and like kind of missed her at first because there's like people's backyards and shit. There's like boats and that kind of stuff. So I kind of missed her, and then my mind was like, well, that was a person. And I went back, and she was just leaning up against a tree, just looking at me. Didn't say a word, alive, but bleeding out. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, what brought me right to her?
Oh,
like I can't. I mean, that's me too. Just thinking about it because I can envision remembering what that flashlight looked like to her eyes, just staring at me. Like I don't even want to call out for help because I want to die. Kind of look,
holy
bro.
Shit.
Yeah, man. So. And again, it's surprising I'm not spiritual after that because there was definitely something bigger than me that led me that way.
It pushed you right
100%
there.
say that, That's one that kind of gives me the chills. Another one was in Paterson. So Clifton PD was chasing a car on Route 20. I don't know if you're familiar with that area, but it's kind of like Route 10. It's got the cement Jersey barriers, so you can't just cross the highway. So they're going towards Hawthorne. It comes over our radio in Paterson. Clifton's in pursuit of a vehicle, failing to stop, whatever. So my partner and I are heading towards Route 20, but you can only go the opposite way towards Clifton. They're going away from Clifton, right? So we would have to get on Route 20, find a U-turn, and then turn around and start heading the other way, right? As we're approaching Route 20, they were like, all right, break it off. They have him in Hawthorne. There's a Hawthorne cop with him, right? It was a female cop. Marianne Calora was her name, 2003. So we break it off. We break it off. They're basically in custody. One of our cops further down the highway on the opposite side, though, he gets on the radio. He's like, "Yeah, headquarters, you sure that person's in custody? Because I saw an Hawthorne cop car like flying up, and didn't look like a cop was driving it."
Oh,
yeah,
shit. Man.
So we were like, "Fuck!" And we had already started. We broke off. We were going the other way. So we were like, "Fuck!" So we turn around. We start heading towards it, and then sure enough, they're like, "All right, Clifton's involved in a shooting. The suspect shot the Hawthorne cop, stole her car, and is fleeing." Right, and then my partner and I ended up finding the car, still smoking, riddled with bullet holes, dude, in front of the hospital. I think it was Barnard Hospital, if I'm not mistaken, on Broadway. Riddled with bullets, dude, and no suspect, obviously, So then that became a manhunt. What had happened at the scene, from what I was told, was he bailed out, started running. Clifton cop chases it. The female cop happened to just be like monitoring the chase, from what I understand. So she was just at wrong place, wrong time, and like the guy ran there. So she helps subdue him. Then this is where Jiu Jitsu would have helped, So he's face down with his hands under his stomach, the suspect, and the Clifton cop they can't get him the arms out to handcuff him. So the Clifton cop, and don't quote me, I may be telling the story completely wrong for whatever investigation purposes. I don't know for sure. This is word of mouth. I don't know. I wasn't there. But the Clifton cop was like, watch out, I'm gonna pepper spray him, and she had control of his head, but like released so he could pepper spray him, and the guy turned around and shot her right in the neck. Killed her. Yeah, so she drops. He shoots the Clifton cop in the hand, and then steals the car and rides over her body and then takes off, bro. Yeah, we found all this out later.
Oh my God.
So, we don't have knowledge of the details other than there's an officer involved shooting. That was it. And then we found the cop car. And then, bro, you want to talk about, I don't know if you've ever seen any kind of incident like that. There's cops from everywhere. Matter of fact, guys I work with now came all the way down to Paterson to help out. Yeah. And I got to give it to the leadership down there, man. It was fantastic. The Passaic County Sheriff at the time and the Paterson Police Chief at the time coordinated within lightning speed and had a state trooper, a county canine officer, a Paterson cop with a shotgun, and a regular cop, as a 4-person team, door to door, like just looking for this dude. Never found him. He ended up fleeing to Florida and got in a shootout with the Florida cops there and got shot and killed. Wow. But I was tasked after the whole incident to escort her body to the morgue. Oh, brother.
Oh, it's horrible.
I mean, and that was early on in my shift, so I still had the rest of my shift to finish. When you want to talk about being a new cop, right? So I got on in 2001, it's 2003, so I've only been on 2 years, including the academy time. And any call I went to after that was like, am I going to die this call? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I remember that feeling of like, different mentality now, man. Like, I'm terrified. I remember that fear.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, man. That was one of the most fucked up situations. Yeah. To this day, I think about it. I'm like, Jesus, dude. If only, I don't want a Monday morning quarterback, but shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah.
Maybe it could have. And to Joe Farina's praises, we cover shit like that, man.
Yeah, good.
Because it's such a necessity and it's real. Like I wasn't at the scene per se, but I kind of lived that situation almost to a T. Yeah. So it's so beneficial, man. So again, if cops aren't trained, they should be. Yeah. Now, funny one, because I can't be serious for too long. Yeah. Okay. So again, new. I was in the police academy. No, I graduated. Right? I'm sorry. Brand new on the street, and I don't get dressed in uniform anymore at home. I get dressed at headquarters, right? But then I'm dressed at home. I'm driving to work. Now, at the time, the pepper spray was fucking huge, man. It was like a big can of pepper spray. And I'm fat as shit still at 27 years old, and it sits in the front of my belt, like by my gut, And I remember I had a water bottle or something on my passenger seat, and it fell off to the floorboard. So I go to get it at a stoplight, and I hear like, no, what the fuck is that, And not even thinking, and all of a sudden I'm like, and I'm like, I had pepper sprayed, my stomach had deployed the pepper spray. So you got a picture of a fucking uniformed cop jumping out of his cop car. I mean, out of my personal car, right? In uniform, but I'm in my personal car. Jump out at a red light, and I'm like,
did anyone come to help you?
No, they were all like, "What the fuck is wrong with that dude?" I'm by myself. It's not like I was fighting somebody, They were like, "What is wrong with that guy?" Yeah, so I had to like push through it and get back in my car and open my eyes and drive to somewhere else.
Yeah. That's fucking horrible, shit, dude. That must.
I got a ton of those stories, unfortunately.
That reminds me of that movie. What is it? Which one was it? Tommy Boy.
Oh yeah, and
where with the bees. They're hopping out.
They're everywhere. Yeah, that's what I should have done.
Yeah. Such a funny
emergency.
Yeah. Such a funny scene. But really, it's just you pepper spraying yourself.
Yeah.
That's fucking horrible. Oh, that's gonna be good. Well, Scott, you got 3 stories, and that last one's fun.
Yeah, thanks, cool.
Bonus one.
We eating a pizza now, thinking of that.
Yeah. Oh, this is actually a great follow-up question from Mrs. Shoemaker, Don's mom.
Okay.
What's your favorite pasta dish?
Oh,
how does she know?
I don't know. Maybe. How does she know?
This is just meant to be.
Yeah.
She didn't know Big Pasta was coming on.
She didn't?
No.
Just the name, probably.
Oh, yeah, probably the Instagram handle.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. Which, by the way, so we all know Campese coined the term Big Pasta, but I spent a fortune custom making my rash guards.
Did you really?
Like 20 of them that say Big Pasta.
Really? Okay.
Oh,
and now nobody calls me that anymore. And I'm like, fuck, that was
that your Instagram handle?
Big Pasta.
Big Pasta?
Yeah.
I'm still gonna fucking call you that.
Yeah, but anybody that goes on Instagram to follow it is like, there's nothing on it. There's like 5 paintings and I used to review pizza.
Oh, nice.
So there's a couple of that shit.
Big pizza.
But if you want to see, I was my heavier days, yeah.
Got it.
So okay, favorite pasta. Man, that's a loaded question. Depends on the mood, man. For ease and just comfort, straight up thick spaghetti.
Okay.
Right? So not really fettuccine, but not really spaghetti. But Barilla makes some thick
it's
spaghetti.
the bucatini.
No, bucatini is the round. right?
Oh, this is
a spaghetti, but just thicker.
Okay.
Get your pasta right,
Come on, man.
Bro, dude, I'm not from Italian. You're from
Rookie.
You should go down aisle 6 once in a while and take a look. so thick spaghetti with, and the Italians are going to kill me, right? Because honestly, with the work that's involved in making homemade sauce, right? And I call it sauce, not gravy.
Yeah, because it's not gravy.
It's sauce. Gravy goes on turkey.
Yes.
Because I'm with the eating disorder, right? The love of food is there, but the speed of food is more. So I go for a Rayo's tomato basil.
Okay.
Tomato sauce. About $8 a jar for jar of tomato sauce, but it's pretty fucking legit. So that would probably be my go-to with about a pound of Parmesan grated cheese on top of it, right? Fresh, not the jarred shit. Yeah. Like freshly grated.
Yep.
Right? That's my workout, my cardio.
Yeah.
So that would be for my go-to food self-medication, right? But then you got like a carbonara.
I was thinking
Yeah,
that.
man,
Yeah.
that's fucking nice.
That's delicious, bro.
And then an alioli with just like butter and garlic.
Nice.
Is really good too.
Okay.
And then maybe linguine with clams probably.
Dude, you just hit so many fucking
there's
dishes,
some
bro. There's fire
Yeah.
dishes.
Yeah. So the reason why I'm picking all long pastas and not like a rigatoni, which I like rigatoni and all that stuff and penne and all that, is because you can twirl the spaghetti into like a fucking a softball.
True. Yeah.
And like dislocate my jaw.
Yeah.
For more squishy elation.
I fucking love it.
Oh, the pasta pleasure.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
like
dude.
salad. I'm spitting all over your microphone.
No,
You
you're
got these
fine,
covers
man.
on there.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
Awesome.
No, that was a good question.
That was a good question. We got three more. We're technically 2 people, but 3 more questions.
Okay.
I think we covered this a little bit, but I'll ask it again. It's
Sure.
from Christian. Christian's 2-stripe white belt, goes to Newton class. Why did you get into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Yeah, well, yeah, we pretty much covered
Yeah.
that, I think. I mean, just, it
Your
was,
kids.
I was in awe of it. Yeah, I mean, but that's, so that was coincidental. The reason why I took the step to start it is because I was, like, intrigued by, like, again, going back to that first class where Joe's wife was like, hey, how you doing, you know? And I'm like, well, this is different than, like, Taekwondo, man. What is this shit, you know? It was that I was intrigued by it, you know? Plus, I had my coworker talking about it so much, how great it was. So I'm like, you know, I'm curious. Let me start it. And then what really kicked it off was Adrian fucking leg pressing me. I was like, I gotta learn this shit, you know? And and I think that's what catapulted the desire.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Fuck yeah. All right, next question, and these are like the fucking cream of the crop questions because they're coming from Anthony Bongiovanni.
We got him this time, man. We got him.
We got it. They're actually very, very good. This is a fun question.
Okay.
If tomatoes are fruit, is ketchup a smoothie?
Well, I think so.
No, because it's not sweet.
No.
All
That's
right,
the only way I
I
can
like
explain that.
Yeah, I like that.
Smoothies gotta be sweet.
Sweet, right? Yeah. All right.
And tomatoes are a fucking fruit.
They're a fucking vegetable.
Come on, man.
I don't care about the technicalities. It's a fucking vegetable.
I never was like in a hot summer day being like, man, I really wish I could slice open a tomato right now.
That's true. I mean, take a bite of this tomato.
Yeah.
Tomatoes like hit or miss. Like sometimes I like it, but other times I'm like, God.
Yeah. Although, I mean, fresh out of a garden, you cut that shit in half.
Oh,
put a little
hell
salt
yeah.
on it.
Dude, my grandpa used to do that.
Oh yeah, not even like not a refrigerated tomato. That shit's gotta be like room temperature, garden temperature, outdoors.
Although
good shit, man.
You ever have like a tomato with mozzarella cheese?
Yeah, with the balsamic glaze.
Yeah. Ooh, that's good stuff.
Little sea
I
salt.
say that. How do you guys say that? Right, by the way, mozzarella.
Mozzarella.
I say mozzarella. Yeah.
Oh, you say it.
Yeah, mozzarella.
Oh wow, good for you.
I'm like this, like
I soprano.
mozzarella.
I soprano the fuck.
Yeah,
Mozzarella, bro.
Yeah, mozzarella. I bet you're doing like the Jersey Italian.
Yeah.
It's better than the people like mozzarella.
Gabagool.
Gabagool. Yeah.
Bring it over here.
Remember that one time, Joe? You were talking about somebody came in the restaurant or something, talking about calamari. It's like a fake Italian guy. I get the calamari.
No,
it's like say calamari, bro.
Bro, that's exactly what it was.
It's a Saturday Night Live episode, isn't it?
He legitimately fucking. I don't know if it was or not, but I just remember he was going like, "I'll take the tuna tartare, I'll take the Wagyu dumplings, and a calamari." I'm like, bro, just fucking order the calamari right now, dude. I was like, get the fuck out of here,
dude. You know what it was? It was The Office.
Oh, was it The Office?
And there's an outtake of it.
Is
Bro,
it?
you have to YouTube The Office outtake on the calamari because he's like, I'll take the calamari. And then they start fucking like the what? Like the calamari. He's trying to say it, but he doesn't know how, like the calamari. Yeah, you gotta do that's fun as hell.
You gotta watch that.
That for sure.
That's funny.
What was the question?
Oh, is it a smoothie? You already said that.
Yes.
No, Christian, or excuse me, Anthony, it's not a fucking smoothie because a fucking tomato is a vegetable. Like you were saying.
You know when like cokeheads start licking their fucking inside their lips when like that's what I feel like I'm fucking starting to do right now. I'm like, damn, it's a pasta dish. Yeah.
You got some pasta?
And shit.
Yeah.
Let's suck your dicks for pasta.
Pasta's pasta, bro.
Dave Chappelle.
Can I lick your fingers?
Oh my god, that's fucking hilarious.
You got your one of them podcasts?
Oh.
You know, out of the entire 2.5 hours, somebody's gonna take just that clip.
Oh, fuck
Suck
yeah.
your dick for some pasta. That shit, I'm gonna lose my job.
Yep.
Fuck.
You only had 2.5 years old. You fucked it up.
Legitimately, you're like, wait, did you listen to the other 2.5 times?
You guys only see the 5-second clip.
Well, it's out there.
Take another
I'll
What
find
are
out.
you gonna do about it now? Oh, pure is gonna be fucking.
Oh, it's fucking great.
I regret saying that shit right now.
Don't,
No,
Joe,
no.
you got
Fucking
it. You
around.
got it.
I don't
Fuck,
care.
no,
Bro.
if you're until Campisi comes. Oh, you want to suck a dick of a pasta?
Oh, shit.
God. So the next question is a fire question, by the way. If you believe in past lives, do you believe that the voice in your head or intuition is someone from a parallel universe trying to help us survive?
Oh, it's such a good question.
You asking me or?
It's everybody. It's this one we all can answer. I'll start it off. I'll kick it off. I think maybe parallel universe, possibly. I actually have thought about this. I think I may have mentioned on one of the episodes, one of the duo episodes, non-guest episodes. I'll not another parallel universe, but I think we are in our souls. It could be that your soul was reincarnated into this body.
Wow.
And that when you have these gut feelings and these intuitions, it was because you experienced a situation in the past life where maybe it didn't go the way you wanted it. That's just a theory.
Now, so
Yeah.
can you elaborate on the voice in your head part? Like, what do we say?
I think it's like basically whatever told you to go on this one road to find that lady.
Okay.
That's how
I think I'm interpreting it as like instincts. Like
Yeah,
your gut feeling.
Gut feelings, yeah.
That's a tough question.
It is.
Because
No, Anthony's got all the
I
tough
tell you what,
questions.
because without that experience, I would. You said you were a Bill Burr fan, right?
Yeah.
You ever listen to when he talks about religion, and he's like, he talks about, I forget which religion it is, but he's like, they talk about like being dead is you just die and that's it.
I haven't heard of that one.
And then he's like, really, that really blows my mind. How does that work? He's like, well, you remember before you were born?
Oh, yeah, I did
He's
hear
like,
that,
no.
yeah.
He's like, no, it's just like that.
It's just like that.
So that was
Sure.
that's my mentality
Sure.
on life. I just think this is where we're at,
Yeah.
and then we're not, you know. But explain that shit with the woman killing herself. Like,
Yeah,
how
yeah.
do you explain that, man?
Yeah.
Like, that had to be something.
Yeah.
So voice in your head. And granted, that wasn't a voice in my head. That was just like I felt like I had to go that way.
Yeah.
So that's why I was asking you to elaborate, because a voice in my head to me is like my own thought of like,
Conscious, yeah.
keep going, bro. Fuck the ankle. Keep going. Like,
Well, actually,
you know,
yeah. So hold on a second.
I don't know
Hold
what
on
he
a second.
means, you know?
No. Let's go off that
Yeah.
now. What if the keep going, motherfucker is Remo in another parallel universe
Right.
that
Yeah.
is the David Goggins
Yeah.
of that world?
Yeah.
And he's telling you.
Oh man.
That's the question essentially.
So like the fucked up part of me right now is like, can we wait 3 years and I can do some shit
He's the shit. Yeah.
to enhance this thought process? I can't do it right now.
Well, at least we're gonna have you come back on, baby.
Because I'm like, this would be a deep conversation if there was enhanchancements. But
I'm catching you.
Yeah, all right, good. I didn't know if you were catching what I was
Oh,
talking.
I'm picking it up.
That I can't say out loud. So I don't know, man. I think our minds are able to, you know how they say you only use a certain percentage of your mind,
Yeah.
right? I think that unused percentage comes out once in a while, and that's
Yep.
what it is,
Yeah, I
man.
think so.
You know,
Yeah.
because it's such a, man, our bodies are such machines. I can't, it doesn't, that part of it doesn't make sense. We're all wired the same way.
Yeah.
And everything's made the same way, and it's all functioning the same way. And it's
Yeah.
like, how does that happen, man?
Exactly.
You know, but there's got to be a part of the head, the mind that works, you know, more times than other times, and maybe that's what that is. I don't know if it's supernatural
Agreed.
as much as it's scientific. or biological, I should say.
Great. All right. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I love that question.
great question.
I could take that so many different ways because I've thought about this quite a bit. Like, we've talked about it here on the show a few times. And kind of just like as we're talking here, I'm like, what if those instincts are like whatever your full potential is as a person? What if like that person is coaching you, like it's you coaching yourself from that future, like your fullest potential is like you coaching. It's like coaching you right now. Does that make sense?
Bringing you to
that future.
I know exactly
that
what you're
future
saying.
you of what you're capable of.
Deep, man.
And that's kind of what I'm like in my head thinking about right now. Because I'm like, what is it that pushes me to do stuff I don't want to do, or just that gut instinct of like, nah, I'm gonna go do this instead of this. And like, for me, my instincts have never let me down, ever, not once. And it's like, what is? So basically, we're trying to answer what are instincts and where do they come from.
Yeah.
And I don't have an answer for that, but I think God plays a role in it. I'm a believer in God, spiritual guy. But I think it's also, I don't know, man. I think there's some, I don't know. It's hard to answer.
No, for sure. There's something there.
It's a deep question.
Yeah, it is. If the past, present, and future is all happening at the same time, right? There's theories of that. Maybe it's that future you guiding you there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Wow,
I don't know.
it's crazy, man. See, I wish I was religious and spiritual because it would make so much more sense. Because you can equate it to that. Like you'd be like, all right, that's attribute it to that. That makes sense. But not being that, it's like I don't know what the fuck it is. Like it's such a
well. I think you probably are. You're just not recognizing it.
Maybe could be. I'm not gonna say no to that. I mean, I was at one point. I lost faith. But yeah, I mean, but you truly have to believe in order to believe.
For sure.
So it's like
absolutely.
if you don't have that. It's like it's not like I'm trying to be unfaithful.
No.
But yeah, man, I don't. That's a good question.
That's a really good
that might be
question.
the.
Bro, he comes up with these questions, bro. But they're spectacular, bro.
Yeah, no, that was good.
Good. Fuck yeah. All right. Well, those were all the questions, man. Yeah, that was it. And honestly, man, I would say we're coming up on 2.5 hours. I think it's a good maybe like point to wrap it up. I mean, I could go for another fucking 5 hours.
I could too. Yeah.
I need to eat.
Yeah, exactly. Hey,
I didn't want to say anything. I didn't know if it was gonna be offensive. Go up and get a
it's all right.
pot of pasta
Go
or
eat some
something.
carbohydrates.
Right. What fucking stuff, yeah, dude. Going to aisle 6, get that Booker T. Any final thoughts for the show, man? For the audience, anything?
I mean, to those that are struggling with any kind of addiction, like talk to somebody, get some help, without a doubt, because there's such a better world out there when you're not on that crutch. If it is food, which is probably, the easier of the two to, maybe overcome, sort of, I guess. But if you're in any type of situation that I was in, dude, it's fucking beautiful on the other side of it, man, And I hope this sticks. I can't say for sure, but I hope it seems to be sustainable this time, and I'm positive about it. Okay. To the cops out there, man, fucking get to some jiu-jitsu, please.
Yeah.
Take advantage of the free training and all that shit, because you need it 100%, I was no, like, crazy go-getter or anything like that, in my career, but I've been in physical situations. I wish I knew that shit then, man.
Yeah.
I would have been so much better off,
Mm-hmm.
Go home to your families, dude, That's it. Thank you so much for inviting me here, man. This was a blast. Oh my God.
It was our pleasure. Thank you for coming on.
The pleasure's all on this end.
Yeah.
I just want to thank you as well for coming back on. Had a blast recording this show, and shared some really valuable stuff on here. We'll definitely have to have you back on as well.
Oh,
I'm looking forward to come rolling around with you.
Yeah, man, let's do it.
That'd be fun.
Definitely, let's do it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, guys, honestly, thank you for coming on again. You're definitely going to come back on.
Awesome.
That's for sure.
Great, man.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
My pleasure, man.
Oh,
definitely.
hell yeah.
Thanks so much.
Anytime. Well, that's the show, folks. So definitely you definitely laughed a lot, because we all are laughing a lot. Incredible show. Thank you for listening, and stay tuned for next week. We love you guys.
Do us a favor. Share the show. Peace.
Boom.
That was awesome.
So good.
Bro, that was fucking insane, bro.
That was a good.
Dude,
I
I
was not
can't believe
expecting
we're
that.
2.5 hours. Fuck, dude.
Isn't that wild? It just
dude.
time just
Crazy.
goes different.
I'm seriously like, I am wondering when I'm going to start hearing I'm going to suck your dick for